Mark Reardon. Which
Yes,
one are we on?
well, 97.1's is Mark Reardon's show is under 97.1.
Okay, got it. So 97.1 FM Talk, StreamYard. Check it out. I'm trying to get this light bulb out of the way of the camera. So good seeing you. I'm having everybody here today. And I've got the rest of the crew here, and it's great. I'm going to listen to Sue coming up a little bit later. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. All right, coming up after the break, Jim Talent will be here, former U.S. Senator from Missouri, as you well know. Can't wait to talk to him about Ukraine, what's happening. Trump wants the weapons to be sent to Ukraine now because he's tired of Putin and his games. So can't wait to hear what Jim Talent's got to say about that. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. Much more to come. We'll also talk about the Department of Education, what Trump's going to do with that, what that's going to mean for you. Lots of stuff coming up today. But first, before we do anything else, we have to talk about the fact that Patrick Mahomes has once again been voted the best quarterback in the country, right? Right. Yes, he has. Best quarterback in the NFL for a third consecutive year in ESPN's annual player rankings. No surprise. We love us some Patrick Mahomes. I cannot wait. What, we got couple weeks here to go?
A little bit longer than that, but it won't be long before preseason games are getting underway here. So it's always a fun time of year, figuring out what teams are going to look like, and yeah, it's gonna be here soon.
That's what I'm talking about. I saw somebody on some social media platform. I don't know who it was. Her husband handed her a 2-week notice letter. Did you see that? I hereby am handing you a 2-week notice letter because I'm not going to be available on Sundays, Saturdays, Mondays, Thursdays. Because the season is upon us. I did look up, by the way, they're supposed to play the Raiders at one point at Raider Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much tickets are for a Raider game?
Oh, I can't imagine.
I know. I looked it up just to see. If you want to sit center, all right, like, the first, right in the middle there. You want to sit there, it's going to cost you like $1,800 a ticket.
Doesn't surprise me.
I'm just wondering, does anybody spend this much money on a football game? And that's not every ticket, I get it. But if you look even up in the nosebleeds, $300, $400, $600 a ticket or more, and that's just Raider Stadium. Depends on obviously the stadium you're going to. But have you ever seen a professional football? Have you ever paid money for a professional football team game?
Yeah, no, I have. I've been to a couple of games. I went to a Colts game back in the day. In like 2010, and then a couple years ago I went to a Vikings game, and that is an awesome. Both are awesome stadiums, but that Vikings stadium, U.S. Bank Stadium, might be the best in the country. You
know what I want to do before I die? I would love to see a Green Bay game.
That would be.
I would
really
love to go. And wouldn't it be? It sounds stupid to freeze your butt off and go see a Green Bay game, and just with all those fans,
a lot of history.
But those tickets, I can't even. There's a lot of history, and I can't even imagine what a ticket would cost. And then got the packages. You can get the NFL packages for various things if you want to see all these games. And I get excited about it. I do. I look forward to the season. I know some people don't like football anymore because of the politics and this and that. And they're tired of the Travis and Taylor show, which still continues, by the way. Even though Ethan last year when we talked about this wasn't so sure it was going to last. Just saying, buddy.
They're still going strong. Love. Good for them. No, good for them.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know where the ring is or anything like that. I know some people don't like it. They get tired of the side, the side storylines, and they get tired of all the nonsense and the distractions and whatnot. But you know what? I still love football, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm just not. But I'm not going to pay $1,800 to see the Raiders play. The Chiefs play the Raiders. Forget that crappy.
Yeah,
team,
someone on the chat said that they were going to go see the Vikings and Raiders play in Vegas, and the nosebleeds were even $400. So they said no thanks.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know who's paying this. And there's a story today that I was deciding whether to get to. And I'm going to just go ahead and transition on into this because this is a big deal. Story today, y'all know, hopefully you know, Vegas is my hometown. Even Fox News is now reporting, that Vegas is considered absurd as far as the resort prices. Absurd. Crazy. This is from Fox News. While Americans may head to Sin City to hit the jackpot, recent social chatter has called out Las Vegas for the prices people need to pay before they even land. Vegas was amazing, somebody said, but I can't with the prices. City was amazing. Walking around the different themed casinos was like a fever dream. Sadly, I felt like a spectator instead of a participant. I have honestly never been to a place that was more absurdly priced. And it's turning into, I don't know, Disney World, the prices people charge. And to the point of the texter, this is what goes on with these tickets. I don't know who's paying all these prices. Eventually, people's credit cards are going to get maxed out, right? They're not going to be able to keep paying these prices. Somebody on the message line says Rams season tickets, $2,500 a year, so about $320 per game, 2 rows from the field. Okay, at least that.
Yeah, that's pretty dang nice. A little bit cheaper than the value of the Raiders games.
But then you got to park. A lot of places charge you to park. Then you've got to pay what, $12 for a beer? I don't drink beer, but it just, you have to say to yourself, how long can this continue to go on with the economy like it is? I mean, obviously, I'm thrilled that Trump's president, nobody else. But with the prices for everything now, I'm still trying to figure out why people still can pay these kind of prices. Where'd the money come from? I have no idea. And eventually it's going to run out where people are just going to be priced out of it. And it's sad because there was a time when you could take your kids to a baseball game, a football game, at a reasonable price, get them a hot dog, all these different things. And now it's a house payment to try to do that for a lot of people. For your average person, it's out of sight now. And that's a shame that it's turned into that. And then, of course, what I don't like, and a lot of people complain about, is the idea that the games are not all free anymore. You have to watch Prime, you got ESPN. Those are the only two, right? ESPN and Prime.
I'm trying to think. You got there's baseball games on Apple TV. There's baseball games on Roku.
Oh, brother.
You got to pay separately for the FanDuel Sports app. There's all kinds of different things.
Yeah, and that's frustrating because it seems to me, listen, they're entitled to make money. Anybody is, but when you have that much, you're taking it away from the fans. When you're forcing fans to have to pay money for Amazon Prime or ESPN or whatever it is to try to see the game. And I know there were several games last year, Chiefs games, that I couldn't see because I don't pay. I pay for Prime just because I pay for the shipping.
Even
I'm about
Netflix.
disgusted with them.
Netflix. There was football, NFL games on Netflix last year.
Oh, that's right.
And Peacock.
That's right. Yeah, people get tired of that. Can I just turn on a regular local TV and watch a football game? Especially if it's a local game. I realize you're not going to see every game all over the country in your local area, but it's just, it makes no sense to me. And they're getting people irritated. And I think probably, they're losing eyeballs as a result. People go, wait a minute. Oh, the game's, no, it's not. We don't have that. And I'm not going to subscribe to Peacock or anything like that for a game or I don't subscribe to any of those services at all, and only Amazon for the shipping. But I'm hoping it's going to be a great season for the Chiefs. I think so. I hope so. I'm ready. I'm ready for a big year. We'll see. Boy, they sure. Well, we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl. We're not going to mention that last year. We'll hope things are better this year. Coming up, Jim Talent, former U.S. Senator from Missouri. We're going to hear what he has to say about Ukraine and the idea of giving them more weapons. Now, Trump's telling them, don't aim at Moscow. Okay, what? Now, what are this? Oh, boy. What good is it going to do when Russia can continue to put people in a buzzsaw and continue to lose millions of people, potentially? I don't know. We'll talk with Jim Talent about that coming up. I'm Heidi Harris, in for Mark Reardon. You can follow me, Heidi Harris Show, on all the socials, Heidi Harris Show. More importantly, you can follow 97.1 FM Talk at 97.1 FM Talk on all the socials. Coming right back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
I'll tell you what, we've got an accident southbound 270 south of Ladue Road. It's blocking the right lane and it's causing a delay behind it. If you are on southbound 270, look for a slow go that goes back to about Page. Now, we do have southbound 170 lined up, but it's mainly moderate volume, and that's Olive down through 64. Westbound 64, just moderate volume out there as you approach Kings Highway out past McCausland. 70 westbound, though, already slowing at Jennings Station Road. And there is a little bit of moderate volume on 44 of all places. And that's kind of between Elm. We'll call it on either side of Elm this afternoon. And other than that, we're okay. There is a jam southbound 55 headed for Bates in the construction zone. No problems as you head into Illinois on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, let's make this the summer that you really do something special for your home, and that could include the help of Banner Construction. They do great work here in St. Louis. They've been around for 30-plus years. Oh, by the way, they're looking for carpenters right now. So if you are a carpenter and you need a gig, get with Banner Construction. I'll give you the details on that here in just a couple of seconds. But they really specialize in two great products. James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding, which is amazing. If you put it on your home, you're going to be blown away. Your neighbors will be blown away. It looks great. There's not a lot of maintenance. There's different options and different styles and different textures, and they can walk you through all that. It's a free in-home design consultation. The other thing they specialize in, and Pella Windows, it's awesome. They're celebrating 100 years in business. They started way back in 1925. They put a lot of their trust into Banner Construction, and you should too. So if you need new windows, if you need new siding, if you're a carpenter who needs a new gig, Banner Construction. Here's how you get a hold of them: 314-569-1050, 569-1050, the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Mark Reardon, Sue Thomas. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
I'm Heidi Harrison for Mark Reardon. Taking a well-deserved week off. You can follow 97.1 FM Talk on all the socials, 97.1 FM Talk. We are doing this live streaming on the live stream, 97.1 FM Talk. You can find us there. Jim Talent joins us, former U.S. Senator from Missouri. Of course, everyone knows that. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. It's good to be back on with you, Heidi. It's been a while.
Oh, yes, it has been. It's great to talk to you again. So, now Trump is saying he's going to give Ukraine more weapons, but he's saying don't shoot him at Moscow. Help me, sir. What do we do here? What a mess.
Well, this is probably the most important foreign policy issue right now. So I'm glad you brought it up. And I will say, Heidi, that I've been wrong often enough that when I'm right, I like to make a special note of it. So, I wrote 2 years ago that we needed to negotiate a peace, and that's been Trump's objective from the beginning. I also said the last 6 months the problem would be getting Putin to the table. So Trump, he's got Zelensky now. He wrapped him up after some bumps in the road. They've signed the mineral deal after the Defense Department paused weapon shipments. Zelensky didn't say anything publicly, called the president up, had a really good conversation. So now the president's got to get Putin there, and I can tell how frustrated Trump is because continuing this war makes no sense from Russia's point of view. But he's beginning to squeeze now. So he's saying, look, you got 50 days to make a deal, and I'm sure Putin remembers. He gave the mullahs a deadline, and he enforced it. Or he's going to put 100% tariff on, which would be really tough on the Russian economy. And then he's got this great deal with the Germans now. He's cultivating another partner, this time in Europe. And I think the new Chancellor Merz understands this is a nice lane for him. So the idea will be Germany will buy the arms from us, including the longer-range precision strike, Patriots, that sort of thing, give them to Ukraine. And that's another way of pressuring Putin. So Trump is starting to step up the pressure to get Putin to the table. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Putin doesn't come. He's a tough customer. The Russians are that way. But Trump's determined to get this war over with, and I think that's in our interest to do it.
That is true. We're speaking with former Senator Jim Talent. So do you think Trump underestimated Putin? We all know how evil this guy is, right? Trump has to have known that. Did he just not, did he assume that Putin would, come to heel when he became president again? What do you think? How do you think this went badly?
I think it's possible. I have a lot of respect for Trump's ability to size people up, but we've had a number of American presidents who've, I think, misread Putin. I think that's possible. I also just think that number one, Trump was busy with another war, in the Middle East, and number two, he assumed that Putin would understand that an off-ramp, to get this war over with is in Russia's national interest. I mean, Heidi, if you step back and look at this whole war has been an enormous disaster for Russia. The Russian army has been exposed. I mean, they can't conduct maneuver warfare against a fairly weak enemy. I mean, Ukrainians have fought extremely well, but it's a small country. Finland and Sweden are now in NATO. NATO has agreed to step up its defense spending to 5%. If they get halfway there, Syria has gone as an ally because Putin couldn't prop him up because he's busy trying to defeat the Ukrainians. These are enormous strategic defeats. And what's Putin got in favor? I mean, Trump is sitting there, but what's he got in favor of it? He's conquered additional territory in Ukraine, a little bigger than the size of Vermont. So I think Trump probably thought, you know what, if I give him a safe phasing, face-saving agreement, face-saving agreement, he'll take it. And I think maybe he did misread him in that respect. So now he's got to impose additional costs and consequences on him. There's a lot more he can do. If he imposes secondary sanctions on the banks, there's just a lot of things Trump can do, and I think he's stepping up the pressure now.
There's so much to comment on that you said a mouthful, but it's important. One of the things that I think is really important is the idea of face.
I didn't say it well, but I said a mouthful.
No, but you did, and I understand what you're saying. But there's so much, there are a lot of egos involved in all these situations, right? We all know that. So you want to give somebody an off-ramp, as you mentioned, to be able to get this settled and still feel as if they've accomplished something. Everybody knows any kind of business transaction, both sides need to feel they've gotten something out of it, right? And usually Trump's masterful at doing that.
Yeah, and the bottom line he's been aiming for from the beginning, which I will point out, I also wrote about 2 years ago, is okay, Putin's going to get to keep some amount of the territory he's conquered. I mean, this is because, unlike when I wrote 2 years ago, the facts on the ground have changed. I mean, the Russians have been winning, if you can call it that, okay? And we're not going to put Ukraine in NATO. But what Ukraine gets is an end to the war, the kinds of connections to the West that it's always wanted, and help in rebuilding the country, which Trump is probably going to make the Europeans pay for, and rightfully so. I mean, it was the Europeans' fecklessness and disarming and having, particularly the Germans, their détente with the Russians, that is mostly responsible for this war. That's an honorable peace for Ukraine. They're going to lose a little more territory, but getting that back, I mean, it's possible if we were to resupply them, they would need a year. I mean, we could go through the military details. I'm not a veteran, but I mean, they'd have to reconstitute a force. They would have to build up their material. They would have to retrain their people, and then they could launch an offensive. It'd probably take them a year to be able to do that, with no guarantee it would succeed. They tried an offensive in 2023. It culminated in failure. I mean, it's not really their fault, but it is what it is. So, they need to end this war too. And Trump wants stability in Eastern Europe. It's in the interest of the United States to end what is the biggest war in Europe since World War II.
Absolutely
so
true.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. We're speaking with Jim Talent, former U.S. Senator from Missouri. I'm Heidi Harris, in for Mark Reardon. Speaking of NATO, it's so interesting to me. Trump goes, and obviously he's going to make them pony up. Do we ever get extra out of Spain, or are they still holding to their 2%? We'll go back to that. So he gets NATO to pony up more money. And don't you find that interesting? That puts them in a better position going forward with this Ukraine-Russia situation.
Yes. And, I talked about when I was right. When Trump became president about 9 years ago, I was very skeptical of the way he was treating traditional alliances. But I had enough sense after a while to step back and watch what he was doing. And he has gotten more out of the Europeans. And he's gotten it because he showed them the value of America's presence in NATO by raising the threat that maybe it wouldn't be there. Yeah, it's kind of like a relationship where the other person has been taking you for granted. And you kind of say, this doesn't have to go on forever. And all of a sudden they realize what they're getting out of you, and they start contributing more themselves. So
right.
Trump's aiming, and, he's done this in the Middle East as well. I mean, he has the Israelis, and they're doing it for their own reasons, don't get me wrong. But the Israelis are beyond burden sharing there. They're burden owning. They're dominating their strategic environment with the cooperation and support of the United States, which is exactly what the president, that's the kind of ally he likes, and that is the kind of ally that's the best for the United States. So I'm also really pleased because as the Germans purchase, particularly like the precision strike, the missiles, et cetera, that is building up our defense industrial base, which is really necessary. So if Trump can pull this off, I mean, it's going to be a major plus for the United States and for the Europeans as well. I think this German guys realized this is a way to emerge as a leader in Europe, which desperately needs a leader. Yeah.
Right. And they don't need this thing spreading. That's what they're worried about, too. They're worried about their own butts, as always.
Yes. And, the Europeans want to be viewed as relevant around the world. And this is a way, and the Germans want to be viewed as the leader in Europe. And as I said, they sure need one. I mean, Meloni is a good leader, but she can't do it from Italy, right? So, Mertz, this could be a relationship. This could be the start of a beautiful friendship, to quote Bogart from Casablanca.
Well, no, and I love the fact that Trump's doing this. None of this would have happened had Trump not gone in there and demanded these other countries that pony up for this. I mean, because why should we be, well, the United States will pay for it. No, we won't. And now they're realizing how close they could possibly come to losing a lot by not ponying up. So this has been great.
Yeah, and I want our people to see. I understand our people who are so suspicious of getting involved in situations like this. But I think the reason is it's been so long since we had somebody, and I don't exclude W in this either. So we had somebody who has purposefully and intelligently pursued American interests, who understands the different tools of power that we have. Trump operates mostly in the diplomatic and economic domain. And that's where we really, where we have the biggest advantage and where we run the least risk. And he's very effective in doing it. So, I have to tell you, I'm really pleased. I think he's managing, he's extending our influence, advancing our interests, and it happens to be the interests of the world. I mean, smart Europeans and Middle Eastern people, they understand a strong, secure America is in their advantage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Senator Chandler, good to talk to you again, as always. Appreciate your insight. I'm hoping this goes the way we want it to. It benefits the entire world. Thanks for being here on the Mark Reardon Show.
Thank you.
I'm Heidi Harrison for Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Okay, we've got random showers throughout the area, and there is now an accident eastbound 44 approaching Jameson. Watch for that in the left lane. I just put it up on X if you want to see what I'm talking about. It's pouring through there at Susan 6768. There was an accident on northbound 141 really close to Marshall Road that created some slow-moving traffic there. And westbound 40 is already lined up Kings Highway out through McCausland. A little bit slow at 270. Southbound 270, an accident has been moved to the shoulder approaching 6440, and that's caused a jam back through Page. Also pretty slow is southbound 141, headed for 64. 70 isn't bad out of downtown. If you're headed into Illinois, we look okay on the bridges. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
I had a technician from Zero Res at my home over the weekend. It probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, and here's why. Because I got the puppy, we got puppy accidents, but I'm trying to keep him off the carpet. So I depend on Zero Res. I really have for more than a decade. Maybe at a graduation party, a 4th of July barbecue where the carpet's not looking very good, or just haven't done it in a while. And look, the bottom line is, and the text can show you this, vacuuming is not sufficient. I only had him do part of my carpeting, and then I said, but you better do the stairs that go to downstairs, because because you can just tell that they're kind of gross. So look, here's the other thing. The floors were dried so quickly, and by that night, they smelled great. Vacuuming is not going to handle it. You need to do the carpets. They can do the tile, the rugs, upholstery, and the air ducts. And here's the special for this month. 3 rooms of carpet clean plus $50 off air duct services. So if you get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, get 1 free. It's a buy 3, get 1, if you will. $50 off air duct services this month when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. Call 474-2020 or online, zeroresstl.com.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
3:31 is the time. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Bold takes, real talk, no apologies. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm Heidi Harris, in for Mark Reardon. How you doing? Everybody having a good day? Six Flags St. Louis is now going to reinstitute its chaperone policy beginning Thursday as part of a nationwide implementation at all theme parks under the Six Flags banner. I have never been to Six Flags St. Louis, but I do love a good roller coaster. The more rickety and the more they sound like they're going to break apart, the more I like them. I like the wood ones. Ethan, you up for the wood ones?
I'm all right with the wood ones. There's a couple of good ones at Six Flags St. Louis wood ones. The Screaming Eagle was a popular one. At one point, I think was like the world's longest roller coaster way back in the day. The Boss is a fun one there. Evel Knievel. I think it's American Thunder now is what it's called. But yeah, there's a few fun ones over there.
Before I die, I want to get to Cedar Point.
Oh yeah,
one
for
of these
sure.
years, and they have roller coasters that hang you by your head, don't they?
I think so. They might.
I think I've seen some. The crazier they are, especially the wooden ones. Click, 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 click up the hill. Love them, love them. But when I was a kid, I remember because of a family divorce, there was a period of time. There was one particular summer when my brother and I were dropped off at Knott's Berry Farm in California, Southern California. Now we weren't children; we were babies. We were 9 or 10 and 12, something like that. But we were plenty old enough to be at the park all day long by ourselves. And it didn't cross my mother was a very devoted mom, but it didn't cross anybody's mind that it was a bad thing to do. Here, kids, go to Knott's Berry Farm all day long, gave us some money, and we rode all the rides. And that just seemed to be something people did. But I guess now it's gotten to the point where you've got to have anybody 15 and under has got to be accompanied by a parent, guardian, or an adult who's at least 21 years of age. And the adult who's accompanying these kids has to have a valid photo ID when entering the park and remain with the younger guest during the visit. And I'm not sure, is this because kids are misbehaving or they're in danger or what is it? I don't know. I don't know what's happening with it. Apparently, in addition, guests 16 and older may be asked to present a valid photo ID as well as verify their age. And that's weird to me, too. Do you have to do that at all amusement parks? Give some kind of ID if you're an adult? I can't see giving somebody my driver's license to get into a park. I don't know if that's what they're doing now. But they're saying that the chaperone policy is working and making it more, enjoyable for everybody. I guess the problem is now that there are a lot of parents who just dump their kids off and don't think anything about it. We never got into any trouble when we'd spend the entire day at the park, and my mom would come pick us up at whatever time she came to pick us up. And sometimes we go with our cousins, and we didn't think anything of it. I guess we were more free range kids back then. But nowadays there are kids, and you should be careful with your kids. And my mom was very careful. We weren't babies, like I said, but still, I don't know. Some people are saying that one parent said, I don't see that much of a problem with it. I understand why people would be a little bit upset, but truly, I think it keeps things a bit safer. I think it does. I mean, you think the days of dropping your kid off at an amusement park, I think those days are pretty much over. I hate to say that because, you don't see kids really doing anything anymore outside. You don't see them playing. You don't see them riding bikes unless they're with somebody. You don't see them really doing the free range kid thing. But if you take them to a park and dropped them off, somebody would say, where are your parents? And I wonder if it makes kids a little more paranoid anymore. They just don't even know what to do. They don't know how to act because they're by themselves. I don't, it's just very strange to me. I don't want to be like these kids today. I don't mean it in that kind of way. I'm just saying, I wonder how many kids are good problem solvers as far as finding your way back to the front of the park and all those kinds of things that we used to take for granted. We could do. Okay, here's where you dropped off. Okay, we'll find it. It's by the whatever, the mountain, the roller coaster, this or that or the other. I don't know. It just seems, and unfortunately, there are people today who will dump off kids at places to be the babysitter. I guess you could say that of my mom, except that we didn't misbehave. We really didn't. We didn't get in trouble. But nowadays, there are people who don't want to raise their kids, I guess. So they'll dump them off at a park or wherever it might be for the entire day and not really care. Pool, which is even more scary. Every year you hear about kids drowning in pools because somebody dumped them off in a pool. Makes no sense to me. But I don't know. It seems like somebody had a party the other night in our neighborhood, and I think they were neighbors who were getting kicked out, so they had a huge bash before they left. And I'm not joking when I say there were 100 people who attended this party. 100 people, and this is only about a 2,000 square foot house. They kept dropping people out off of in cars by my house, which is about 3-4 houses up, dropping them off. 5-6 people, 5-6 people. I mean, all for hours. There had to be 100 people who went into this house. And I know that all those people weren't invited because nobody had anything in their hands, not beer, not chips, not anything. They were just coming in with nothing, walking into a house where 100 people were going to be and having not enough food or drink. So all the neighbors, we all kind of watched this whole thing happen and thought, okay, this is not going to go well. So finally, the cops stopped over and nothing was going on that you could, nail them for. So they left. And the cops came again, talked to somebody, but once again, nobody was doing anything wrong. So about 11:30, we're sitting in the house and we hear it sounds like a bomb has gone off. And then it turned out somebody was throwing, I don't know, are they cherry bombs? Is that what they call them still? Firecrackers that are like, this thing was so strong, it put a divot in my street. And they threw it like 10 feet from my house. So my dogs, of course, are freaking out. And at that point, 5 police cars and a helicopter showed up and the party was over. Because you had to know it wasn't going to go well with all those people in a house. So when it gets like that, you're going to have problems. And sometimes I do believe in this case, it was one of those social media parties. Somebody puts it on social media. And the next thing you know, all these people you don't even know start showing up at your house. And that's what it looked like. But that can go very, very badly, very, very quickly. So, I don't know. I feel like the kids today, most of the good ones are not running around after midnight, but a lot of kids, they seem to not have the parents at home. Nobody's home. They get home from school and they're not getting the guidance they need. So when they go out to places like amusement parks, they're not acting like they used to act at Disneyland or whatever else. Disney World, Disneyland, Six Flags, anything. It's sad. It's sad to see it happen. And unfortunately, the manners are such that a lot of times you see kids with no respect for authority. When I was a kid, if an adult said something, I'm not saying I was a perfect kid because nobody is, but if an adult said something, it meant something to you as a child. If an adult said, hey, cut that out, or hey, be quiet, or even down the street from your house, if an adult had something to say to you, you listened. That's back when It Takes a Village was actually the way it was supposed to be, not like Hillary Clinton envisioned it. Back then, if a neighbor saw you getting out of line, they'd call your mom or dad and say, hey, your kid was doing this or that. And that really is how it should be now. If a teacher tells a parent their kid's out of line, what happens? The parent goes in and starts screaming at the teacher. It's changed a lot. Society has changed so much. And I don't know why. I saw a story a while back where a woman was sending her child to school who was misbehaving. And somebody, I think it was a teacher, told the mom, well, your child's doing this and this. And she said, it's not my job to control my kid at school. It's a teacher's job. So in other words, instead of telling the child, this is what you need to do, this is the behavior I expect from you when you're in school, the mother didn't care what her kid did at school. That was the teacher's job, she said. Now, what happens when your kid grows up, assuming she ever becomes an adult, gets out of the house or even not, and she goes to work somewhere and has a boss? She's going to have to learn how to behave at some point. Somebody is going to have some authority over her. And what are you going to do? What's her boss's job to make sure she behaves? Actually, no, it's not. Her boss will fire her if she doesn't behave. But the idea that you wouldn't want to tell your child, no, this is how you're going to behave. This is what we expect of you in this situation. If you go to a birthday party, we expect certain behavior. And if you don't behave well, we're leaving. But it's just, I don't know. And that translates into kids misbehaving in amusement parks is what happens. Unfortunately, a lot. Unfortunately, it happens quite a bit. Apparently, a majority of voters are not buying the findings of a Department of Justice FBI investigation. According to Rasmussen, they did a national telephone and online survey. Just 21% of likely U.S. voters believe the FBI and DOJ are telling the truth about Epstein. 21%. 56% don't believe the FBI and the Department of Justice are telling the truth, and 23% are not sure. Can you imagine? Is this the kind of thing, do you think, that is going to affect Trump when it comes to re-election? Because remember, we heard a lot about the Epstein files, and all of a sudden, nothing to see here? How can that be true? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? When the last I heard, Bongino was back at work, right? He decided to go back. I mean, he's about on his last leg, frustrated with what's going on. Can you imagine? But nothing to see after all of the discussion about it? There's nothing to see here? Don't know. But the important thing is the perception. A lot of Americans don't know. Is it something people who love Trump, and I voted for him 3 times. People who love Trump love him so much I don't know that this would affect him that much. And I don't know how could it possibly affect him in the midterms. I don't see how that could happen. You're going to throw Congress out because of this? I don't think that's going to be the case. People have short memories a lot of times, and I don't know. I don't know if they're going to. But the ones who love Trump, they forgive a lot. Let's put it that way. Because they love their guy. But that's a pretty big percentage of people who don't buy it. But I guess, you can drive yourself crazy worrying about all these people who are trying to get away with something. Let me just tell you something. Nobody gets away with anything. At the end of the day, everybody's going to get theirs. Believe me. Epstein, he's already departed somehow, some way. Everybody's going to get what's coming to him. Maybe not on your timeline, maybe not the way you want it done or the way I want it done. They're going to get it. God's got a list. That's how I look at it. God's got an Epstein list. He knows what's going on. All these people. Yeah, I can't imagine. I don't know that it will change anything in the midterms. I don't think so. I think what will be more important in the midterms is what's going on with national security. The economy is still not great. I mean, thank God Trump's there. If you weren't, can't even imagine what it would be like. Prices are still high. The economy is not great. There are a lot of things people are very concerned about. But at the end of the day, we have a president who's beating back other countries that are, look at the bunker buster bomb. And if you get a chance, I did an interview the other day with a friend of mine who's a general in the Air Force, retired general in the Air Force. So we talked about the bunker buster bombs. He was actually involved in the testing. He was there when it was tested. He was telling me a story about when they tested this, they put a traffic cone on top of a mountain. And when they dropped the bunker buster into the mountain, it split the traffic cone in half. That's how accurate this thing is. It's pretty amazing. It was amazing to see Trump actually take some action. Iran hadn't said much lately, have they? Although they did say that the Trump couldn't sunbathe in Mar-a-Lago. So at least we have a president now who's willing to use the great American military if necessary. Nobody wants war. I don't want war. I don't want to get us in a war. I know he doesn't either. But enough already. And certainly that sent a message, I would think, to Russia that, hey, Trump's got some bombs. He's not afraid to use them. Just saying. I'm Heidi Harris in for Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Yeah, we had some random showers move through the area. They're still there, kind of cutting a swath from 44 up to North County on 270. And a couple of accidents, one in the rain, eastbound 44 approaching Jameson in the 2 left lanes. And there's one eastbound 70 at Bermuda in the left lane, although it's dry through there. But we do have some slow-moving traffic in each of those areas. Now, southbound 270, there was an earlier accident in the right lane at 64. That created a jam back through Page. Other than that, it's the usual volume. So westbound 6440 at Kings Highway out of downtown, 55 at Bates. Now, we still look good if you're headed into Illinois on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Jason Aldean is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater on July 19th. Want to go for free? Listen to The Mark Reardon Show all this week from 3 to 6. We're giving away a pair of tickets every day through Thursday.
Point Pest Control is reminding you it's time to spray for mosquitoes. How can something that tiny interrupt your outside gatherings? Have Point Pest Control spray today so your next outside gathering is mosquito-free. 636-798-0023. Mention Annie to save an additional 10%. PointPestControl.com.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's summertime, and that heat can play havoc on your plants and trees in your yard. Mark Cox here from my friends at Hanson's Tree Service. Give them a call. They will send a certified arborist to your yard to set up a plant health care strategy. They can help you with trees that might have a bug problem or a disease. Plus, they can deliver mulch directly to your driveway in most cases. Just go online to hansonstree.com. or call them at 636-379-1830.
Fast-paced, fact-based, and never boring. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
I'm Heidi Harrison for Mark Reardon. He takes a couple of well-deserved days off tomorrow. Ryan Recker will be with you. He's a great guy. Who do you like better, Ethan? Me or Ryan Recker? Don't lie.
Oh man, how can you make me
Come on.
pick? Heidi, I
What?
didn't have a show with Ryan Recker for 2 years. I didn't work with him on a show for 2 years. So, I think I have to go back to the roots.
So you're saying I just slide in barely? Is that what you're saying, my friend?
I think that it's close, but that gives you the tiebreaker.
Okay, I guess so.
You sound sad about that.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I think
No,
what
he's a
you
great
should. I think it sounds like you think it should be a blowout in favor.
It should be a blowout, but that's okay because he's a good guy. I get it. You know how the property values are crazy and it's hard to find a house and nobody's coming down on the prices and all this stuff, right? 1/3 of baby boomers who own their house say they'll never sell. This, according to Redfin, 1/3 of baby boomers. This is the problem. A lot of people are saying, heck no. Of course, a lot of parents will not move out of their house. I know I've got a lot of friends in that situation right now where their parents will not move. They need to move. They won't move. I'm going to die in this house. That whole thing. I think a lot of people can relate to that. Older people are even less likely to sell. Nearly half of the silent generation members never planning to sell. Well, listen, eventually you might have to if things change or somebody has an accident or whatever, and you can't live in that 2-story house. I have a friend who's got parents in their 80s who live in a 3-story house. Okay, that's not going to end well. She's begging. They won't move. That's another story. Younger homeowners are more likely to eventually part ways with their house. Only 25% of Gen Xers and 21% of millennial Gen Xers say they'll never sell. And I hate numbers on the radio, and I'm sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to give you an idea. This is kind of a big deal because the way it's supposed to normally work, people will buy, young family, like young Ethan and his wife. Well, they'll buy a starter home, and maybe it's a small house, and then they'll start a family, and they might want a bigger house and that kind of thing, right? And the older people, once the kids leave the house, they'll downsize, and that's it. Now they need 2 bedrooms or 3, not 4 or 5 or 6. That's the way it goes. And therefore, people are able to get into the market. But now with the interest rates as crazy as they are, people who have a 2 or 3% interest rate are saying, heck no, I'm not selling. That's the problem. A lot of boomers say they like their house and they have no reason to move, making that the most commonly cited reason for sticking it out. Next most common reasons are financial. 30% say their house is almost or completely paid off. See, that's another problem is that, let's say you take your equity. Okay, you sell your house. I don't want to pick numbers, but you sell your house. We'll just go with you have a couple $100,000 in equity. You sell it. Where do you go? Where do you go now? That's why a lot of people don't want to do it. So then the younger people are stuck in apartments that are overpriced now. Nearly 9 in 10 of the homes owned by baby boomers are single-family homes. 2024, this surprised me when I was reading this. 2024 Redfin analysis found the baby boomers are twice as likely to own large homes as millennials. I find that fascinating. You'd think, I guess if you like your neighborhood and whatnot, you'd think though as you get older, you would want to, I don't know, downsize a little bit, not have to maintain it, not have to heat it, cool it, mow it, all that stuff. But the problem is moving is such a hassle and all of us have too much stuff that people don't want to do it. But once again, makes it very difficult for baby boomers. A lot of the boomers say, I like my home and its location. I have no reason to move. Don't want to give up my low mortgage rate. That's a huge, for a lot of people, that's a big one. Yeah, it's true. A lot of people don't want to pay high HOAs. A lot of people don't want to live in an HOA at all, which I don't. Of course, if you don't, we had some renters just move out of our neighborhood. I don't know about you guys, and I'm not trashing renters. Okay, I've been a renter. I'm not putting them down. But what frustrates me is when somebody moves into your neighborhood and they know that you don't have an HOA. The fact that we don't have an HOA does not mean we have no standards. Okay, can we all agree on that? I just don't have an HOA because I don't want someone walking around with a clipboard and citing me because my bush is looking a little burnt or something, or a little dry or whatever. But the idea that you move into a neighborhood, we've had this happen before where renters move in, we have no HOA. So they bring all these cars, all this junk because we don't have an HOA. Well, that doesn't mean we want all that garbage there. Anyway, that's part of it too. But HOAs, interestingly, are becoming far less popular than they used to be with a lot of people. Because folks are just tired of the Nazis, the people who've never had any power their entire lives, and all of a sudden they get on an HOA and off the board, and they're going to run around and make sure that you don't park anywhere too long, or you're watering all your plants and all the stuff associated with that. But it is interesting to see because people are just holding onto their houses, so that makes it difficult for the young people who are buying for the first time or trying to move up to get anything. I do think the market's going to shift though, because you look at the price of these houses, and I don't know how long they can maintain. It's weird too because you've got a high interest rate and expensive houses. I don't know how people manage both of those. And a lot of people aren't managing. And then people have, buying adjustable interest rates and things like that. They're finding out that they're not able to maintain it. So I do think there's something coming around the corner. Not sure what, not sure when, but I do believe it's going to change. I remember 2008. Let's see, 2008, I think it was 2008 or 9, but I believe it was 8. I was on the air in Vegas, and there was a development. You know how you do you have the first phase and the second phase and whatnot. Okay, so I'm just going to throw numbers out there because I don't know what they actually were. So let's say the first phase, every house was $400,000, which I think probably was accurate. So they come in, the builder, and they build phase 2, and they drop the prices $100,000. And that was a big news story. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh. So all the people in phase 1 just lost $100,000 because phase 2 has gone down. And that was really, for us, that was one of the really huge signs that things were about to really flip. The builders sensed it and dropped the price on the second. And if you look at most markets, you can look that on whatever realtor app you look at. You can search for how many houses have had the prices dropped. And it's a good 25% in a lot of markets now. And what does that mean? I'm not a realtor. But I think that these prices are not sustainable. You know, I know there are a lot of people burned out of their homes in California and things like that who've been moving around the country because they're never going to get permits to rebuild these houses in Pacific Palisades. And maybe that'll help the markets in some places. But at the end of the day, it just gets to where people just can't afford it. And then you wind up with a situation like we had down the street from me where there had to be 5 or 6 people living in the house. Maybe 7 or 8 because nobody can afford to have pay rent by themselves or just for a couple. It's just very strange times we're living in for sure. I'm Heidi Harris in for Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Rain moved through the area, so it depends on where you are. It may be completely dry, it may not be, but some of that rain fell up north. So eastbound 270 drivers, it's now a slow go for you. East of 367 to almost the Canal Bridge. It's all due to rain. We have an accident reported westbound 70 before Kings Highway. Accident eastbound 70 at Bermuda in the left lane. There was an accident eastbound 44 approaching Jameson. They've got the 2 left lanes blocked. Boy, that happened when it was pouring rain. And southbound 270, slow pockets now from Page down through 44. Now, out west, 70 really isn't bad. Little bit slow, Highway A through Wentzville. And if you're headed into Illinois, it looks great. No delays on the bridges downtown or their approaches. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Baseball fans, this is your night. LaRussa's Rescue Champions and the PenFed Foundation for Military Heroes invite you to celebrate Cardinals championships this Wednesday, July 16th at 6:45 p.m. at the Stiefel Theater. Relive the Cardinals' greatest moments from 2000 to 2011 with legendary players, epic game highlights, behind-the-scenes stories, and tributes to the 60s and 80s title runs. Every ticket supports incredible nonprofit causes. Don't miss it, Cardinals Nation.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, I had a great conversation with Neil Gelman of the Gelman team last week. We were kind of going over the St. Louis market, where it is right now. There's some positives. Certainly, if you're a seller, you can get top dollar. If you are a buyer, you're going to find good opportunities out there. They also have a great tool that's available all the time on their website. If you go to thegelmanteam.com, you'll see a tool that says, how much is your home really worth? Like right now, if you press go. And if you want to press go, they'll take care of you at the Gelman team. If you don't, you just want that number, they're not going to sell your information or anything like that. If you need to sell your home, it's a challenging market. It's very unique. We don't even know when it's going to change again, just because of rates being relatively stable and they're not going down to where a lot of us are when we locked in at 3%. So there's challenges, but you have good news. You have experts on your side. So go to thegelmanteam.com, or you can always call them if you need to get a hold of them. Tell them that you heard about it here on 97.1 FM Talk, 314-336-1991. They do great work here in St. Louis. The Gelman team with eXp Realty, online at thegelmanteam.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Real action. Elisa Brady, Fox News. That's what President Trump is predicting as energy and tech companies pledge more than $90 billion in investments for Pennsylvania.
This is a really triumphant day for the people of the Commonwealth and for the United States of America.
Pennsylvania's Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro joining the president at an energy and innovation summit with an eye toward the infrastructure needed to advance artificial intelligence and spur job creation in the region. The man accused of murdering a state lawmaker and her husband in Minnesota is indicted by a federal grand jury. Vance Belter charged with murder, stalking, and firearms-related counts. Federal prosecutors say he posed as a police officer when he shot and killed a state representative and her husband, wounding a state senator and his wife. All of the victims were Democrats attacked in their homes. Belter has told the New York Post the case does not involve his pro-life views or President Trump. Former Congressman Mike Waltz, now nominated to be U.S. ambassador to the UN, says the United Nations needs reform and that one of his priorities will be combating anti-Semitism.
From 2015 to 2023, the General Assembly passed 154 resolutions against Israel versus 71 against all other nations combined.
Waltz, a combat veteran facing questions about his time as national security advisor when a journalist was mistakenly allowed into a group chat about U.S. airstrikes in Yemen, still insisting today there was no classified information in that chat. Tomorrow, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is due before a House panel where he will reportedly detail the administration's plans to overhaul the aging air traffic control system now that Congress awarded an initial $12.5 billion. America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
It's supposed to be Crypto Week.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
We will continue to keep an eye on the sky through about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight for a couple of scattered thunderstorms, some downpours and lightning out there. 80s this evening, very humid, partly cloudy, 74 overnight. Wednesday, mainly sunny, maybe a spot afternoon storm. Hot and humid, 95 for the high on Wednesday. Wednesday night, warm and humid, 77. Hot and humid, 94 on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and July is actually National Carpet Cleaning Month, and because of that, Zero Res is offering a purchase of 3 rooms of carpet cleaned and get 1 free, plus $50 off air duct surfaces. Here in St. Louis, you got stains from toasted Rav, dog hair thicker than a summer party at Soulard, and a mystery spot that might be beer, might be barbecue. Let's face it, might be both. It's time to call the pros at Zero Res. They clean without soap, harsh chemicals, or that weird musty smell your Aunt Linda's house always has. They use their powerful, fancy ZR water, so your floors dry fast, feel soft, and smell like victory, like beating Chicago maybe. Vacuuming is simply not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and the lifespan of your carpet, and Zero Res can handle it all. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, air ducts, basically every surface in your home. Take advantage of this offer. Buy 3 rooms of carpet clean, you get 1 free, plus $50 off air duct services. Call today at 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Tell me what the 97.1 FM Talk special. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Heidi Harrison from Mark Reardon. How you doing? Follow me, all the socials, Heidi Harris Show. You can also find my podcast on the Odyssey app, Heidi Harris Show. Since I do work for Odyssey. Thrilled to be here hanging with the gang. Sue, Fred, Ethan. Just passed his 1-year anniversary. How's it going, bud? You still in love and all that good stuff?
Still kicking it.
Did she get rid of all your stuff yet? All your furniture and all your stuff?
Well, I lived in a house with a bunch of dudes. It was a big old bachelor pad before we got married, and her place was already pretty much fully furnished, so we didn't really have to take a lot of my stuff there, and I didn't have a lot of furniture or anything, so I mean, it was kind of a perfect transition in that sense. But she has let me completely take over. We have an apartment right now, 2-bedroom apartment. She's completely let me take over the guest bedroom and turned it into my baseball/sports memorabilia autograph room / office, and so it is all decked out with all kinds of fun stuff up on the walls. So I take great pride in my room, and whenever people come and stay over, I always tell them good luck sleeping, because there's so much to look at on the walls. You're gonna have a hard time falling asleep.
Good woman giving you your space. Now, you have the Bass Pro recliner, or what you got in there?
No recliners.
Or...
See, I think that's the trade-off, right? There's no recliners, she did not let me take my deer head. I do hunt. I'm a deer hunter, and she did not let me take my 11-point buck that I have mounted at home. She did not let me bring that, but that's a fair trade-off. I will take my sports memorabilia room if it means leaving my mounted deer back at home in Illinois.
Okay, what does it cost to? I mean, I should know this answer, but I don't hunt. What does it cost to mount a deer? A white-tailed deer? What kind of deer is it?
It is a white-tailed deer. Yeah, it kind of depends. Okay. It depends on I think a few different things. Probably depends on
obviously the size and the complexity. I get that.
The form in which you want it mounted and things like that. Mine probably cost around $400.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet mine was probably around $400. It might be more now, but yeah, that's what mine cost back in 2019.
Taxidermy is definitely an art. I have a friend who is a bow hunter, and he's gotten, I think they call it, I may screw this up, World Series of, it's not World Series, something with bows, where he's gotten some kind of record, and his house is full of everything from a polar bear.
Oh my goodness.
Every kind of deer. It's not World Series, but it's something like Grand Slam. Does that sound right? It's
I don't know.
Baseball term, maybe Grand Slam of some kind of thing with bow hunting.
Big game?
And the tax, now I don't know what it's something to do with how many you've gotten and where you've gotten them.
Okay.
The kind of animals you've gotten, not like you're out slaughtering everything for no reason. The kind of animals you've gotten. I think it's called the Grand Slam, but the taxidermy is just, these animals are just.
Oh, it's no
gorgeous.
joke. It's extremely expensive. But there's definitely money to be made there. But hunting can get really expensive if you're. Like I said, I've only killed one big buck in my time hunting, which has probably been for I don't know, close to 10 years now. So but people that go and pay for, a lot of people lease land, and they'll go to an area where you can. There's big bucks. They basically feed all the big bucks there, and that can get really expensive if you're mounting them every year. Fred just pulled it up here. It is Grand Slam. Refers to a successful harvest of specific game animals using bow and arrow, often the goal of achieving a particular hunting milestone. So I guess there's different ones depending on what you are hunting, whether it be deer, wild sheep, turkey, etc. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's all that stuff. Wild sheep and goat, the mountain goats and all these crazy things that. Now, how much meat? I guess it depends once again how large the deer is. How much meat do you get off a deer like that?
Off the one. Any deer will last you a long time. It obviously depends on how much you're cooking, but for us, my dad, I wasn't able to go last year, and my dad went and he killed one, and I still have stuff that he gave me frozen in that's in my freezer that I haven't cooked yet. So I mean, it'll last you a while. It'll last us close to a year. So ends up being a nice way to save a little money also.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad how many deer get run into cars over the course of the every season. It's very frustrating. We went up to Yellowstone last year, and my husband has these things on his car. They are deer alerts. Have you ever seen them? The little tiny plastic things that when you go a certain speed, they're kind of buried inside the grill of the car, and you go a certain speed, and they make a sound that only the deer can hear.
No, I have not heard of that.
Oh, it's amazing.
Have you heard of that, Fred?
Yeah, that's
no.
You never heard of it? You haven't heard of those, Fred?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're hi Fred, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Yeah, my mother-in-law had them up in Montana, and they're just little tiny plastic things, and they fit in the grill of your car. And when you go a certain speed, they make a sound that only the deer can hear. And we're driving into Yellowstone about, 6 o'clock in the mornings. We want to catch all the good stuff, right? And all of a sudden, this elk is coming across the road with all of her girlfriends. And I'm going, oh my gosh. I go, she's coming. She's not stopping. We're going 45, 50 miles an hour. And this deer and all of her girls were going to come right in front of us. And we got about, 50 feet away from her. She jumped back off the road.
Huh. I mean, I guess
boy.
it makes sense needing it in that area of the country. I mean, you could say that also in, the Midwest in certain areas too. But
yeah.
for sure up there, Yellowstone area where all the national parks are up there, I guess that's interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, because nobody wants anybody to die. You don't want to have to hit them, and then besides the inconvenience and the possible death of everybody involved, you don't want to have to deal with that. But yeah, it worked magically, and it was too. We were going too fast to stop, and she wasn't going to stop. She just kept coming across the road. I couldn't believe it. She didn't care, so it was nuts. Are you a hunter, Fred?
Oh no, I've never hunted. I don't think I've ever shot a gun.
Sue had sneaking in a little laugh there.
Fred is not a hunter. He's as much of a hunter as I am.
Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing well. I can't wait for Sue's news coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, never. You fired a gun, Sue?
Let me think about that. I don't think so. Maybe a BB gun at someone's farm a long time ago.
Really?
But
okay.
I really need to, I did. That's something I should do. I'm not anti-learning how to do that.
Well, I'm not saying you have to, but if you have a gun, you need to know how. If you don't have a gun, then, you just have to know how to be careful around them. That's all.
Right. I've known Ethan for a while, and I never knew that you were a deer hunter until just now.
It's kind of the
same, Fred.
It's kind of, well, first off, I feel like there's a kind of a specific personality that goes along with that. You're just kind of like country lifestyle, and that is not me. But my mom grew up a city gal. My dad did not. He grew up in Southern Illinois, country guy. And that's kind of like that little piece of me. I enjoy it. It's fun, but I also enjoy that time with my dad. So that's kind of just a fun weekend that we get to spend together. But no, I don't know. It's not something I advertise a bunch about myself.
Well, yeah, but there's a huge population of deer, and if you don't cull a certain amount every year, there's a certain amount they just have to take out a certain amount. So good for you, and then you get all that fresh meat. Although I'm not a big fan of venison, but I'll leave that to you. I'm Heidi Harris in for Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
I'll tell you what, that rain shower that moved through the area, I guess it's a little bit more than a shower. It really had some heavy rain, and it left us with rain-slowed traffic. Now, there was an accident eastbound 44 approaching Jameson on the left side. They've been working to get that to the shoulder. We've got an accident on westbound 70 approaching Kings Highway. There was one eastbound 70 at Bermuda. They've been working to get to the left. And rain-slowed traffic eastbound 270, 367 through the Chain of Rocks Bridge. Now, southbound 270, slow pockets from Page down through Doherty Ferry as well. If you're headed into Illinois, we actually look okay on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella Window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters.
Game day or any day, your fit says it all. Hit up MLBshop.com for the latest jerseys, caps, hoodies, and accessories to keep you in the game all year long. Rep your team, rep your city, rep yourself. Gear up and game on at MLBshop.com, the official online shop of Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball trademark used with permission.
The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm Heidi Harrison from Mark Reardon. I've been looking forward to this all day. Sue's News.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News. Brought to you by Sue.
Ethan the Hunter. Who knew?
You learn something every day.
You really do. Okay, it is National Gummy Worm Day, National I Love Horses Day, National Be a Dork Day. Okay, Fred, you had the bell.
Oh, he's getting it right now. He's getting it right now.
Okay. Thank you. And finally,
timing. Okay.
National Tapioca Pudding Day. Oh. Now, there are people who love the tapioca. Michael is one of these people. I do not like the little weird globules in anything I eat. Fred, thoughts?
I'm anti-tapioca.
Thank you, Heidi Harris.
No, chocolate for me if I'm going to have pudding.
Globules for you, Ethan.
I don't think I've ever even had tapioca pudding, but it doesn't look very appetizing.
Yeah. If you like bubble tea, you like tapioca.
Never had that either.
Yeah, just a hard pass on that. I think you're fine. But there are tapioca pudding lovers. I'm just not one of them. Okay, we're going to have a little quiz. Now, Ethan will know the answer to this. I'm going to play you some audio. This movie came out 37 years ago today, in 1988. See if you could tell what movie this is.
I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on the bulletin board. Sorry, Hans, wrong guess. Would you like to go for double jeopardy where the scores can really change? These are very bad for you. Just a fly in the ointment, Hans. The monkey in the wrench.
What do you think,
That's
Fred?
Bruce. That's Bruce. Oh, I'm sorry.
That is correct. Wait, do you know the movie? Sorry, Fred. I always let Fred go first. He's a Hall of Famer.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. So go ahead.
Heidi, come on.
Yes.
You knew it.
It's the movie with the tall building.
Yes, that's true. It's Die Hard.
Oh.
Fred, hit the
Thank
bell.
you.
Hit that bell.
That's
Gosh.
one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Exactly. I thought that you might know that. It's a Christmas
Can't
movie,
believe
even
I
though
knew it. Yes.
it came out in July. We'll just overlook that, Fred. Those of us who still believe that it's a Christmas movie, it was set at Christmas.
Never seen it.
We'll never get over Bruce Willis in the tank top.
No, we
He
won't.
was just so hot. No,
He
we
was
won't.
so-
Sue and
it
I
was
are having
such a
moment.
great movie. Ethan, put that on the list.
I know. The list is getting so long.
And then, on this day in history, 19 years ago, in 2006, Twitter was released to the public. That's right.
Wow.
Twitter is not even 20 years old. Doesn't that blow your mind? It blew mine this morning.
Has
What
grown.
bothers me is, how much time we all spent on it.
Has
and
grown.
Facebook.
Has grown into by far my favorite social media page.
Has it really? What
By
started
far.
as were you a Snapchat person like the kids?
Yeah, in high school I was definitely a
Uh-huh.
Snapchat fan. I liked Instagram, that was fun. But Twitter, I mean, there's just so much information on sports. The sports world goes through Twitter. I mean, quite literally. And also, there's just a lot of funny stuff on Twitter. Remember, last week, I don't remember who was hosting, but I was scrolling on Twitter at one point during, I think it was an interview, and I just started sitting there laughing. And Sue's like, laughing
What
at
are
me
you
laughing.
laughing at?
And I turned and I just showed her the stupidest meme, and I don't even remember what it was. She's like, "This is what you're laughing at?" I was like, "I know."
Ethan, didn't you just post something on Twitter like last hour?
Yeah, I tend to be pretty active on Twitter. I'm trying to get my my
On X, we should be correct.
X. Yes, yeah, I did. I just posted a quote from Fred. Brought in some really awesome All-Star Game programs since the All-Star Game is tonight. From back when it was in St. Louis, and the last two have been 1966 and 2009. And I was reading a quote in the 2009 one that said, "Everyone wants to play in St. Louis. Just ask the guys who play there now. One Cardinal after another swears it's true. Opponents tell them they want to be a part of what goes on at Busch Stadium." And it was a little melancholy because it's not really the case anymore.
Aw. Oh, that's kind of nice, though.
Aw.
Fred has everything, Heidi.
Everything.
He's got it. Everything. Capital E, capital T. Amazon's Prime Day was a huge success. Okay, to the tune of $24 billion.
Holy.
That is the equivalent, they say, of 2 Black Fridays. Wow. And apparently AI was a big part of the success. So I thought, what? I don't really understand how AI was a part of the success. So I looked it up, and apparently what AI does is recommend products for shoppers. So if you're Googling something, AI will come up and say, oh, well, you know what? Here's what you can get on Prime today at a discount. And it generates product descriptions. They say AI use in Prime Day was up 3,300%.
Oh, my goodness. From last year?
So 3,300, a normal person would say, but I can't manage that. Yes.
Wow.
That's just
Okay,
nuts.
wait a minute. Now, does that mean that I, as a shopper, I was actively using the AI, or the AI was used to steer me toward a certain product?
A little bit of both. And mostly it's used to steer you. But what the browsers now use it, so when you do Google something or look something up, they generally give you an AI answer. My phone does that.
Yeah,
right?
I'm getting it all the time now. And I don't know if I've got something set wrong on my settings, but even my emails come with a AI summary of what's in my email.
Oh yeah, that's the new Gemini
What?
on
Yes.
Gmail. Gmail has a new AI, I guess, thing called Gemini, where I don't know if
It does it for you.
Yeah, it's summary. It'll send them out for you, kind of communicate what you're trying to communicate. It's crazy.
What
It's
does it
taking
say? What's the summary? JUNK?
Yeah, I think
it
that's
gives you like
assumed.
little bullet points of what's coming up,
It's crazy.
so you know.
Don't you love corporate email? Every once in a while I get on the corporate email, not very often, but if I do, it's always, oh, somebody left something in the break room. Or I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't want to get on email and read this. Okay, sorry. Did I say that?
Well, the parents of a 5-year-old boy over Prime woke up one morning to find out that he'd ordered a whole bunch of expensive toys on Amazon while they were asleep. You know, that happens quite often. Now, this kid managed to spend over $3,000, but the parents were surprised because they have facial recognition on their phones. And they said what this kid had done was looked under the TV, you know, in the piece of furniture that holds up the TV. Somebody had left an old iPhone in there. And the kid, he's 5, charged it, got into it, and then ordered like multiple driving toys, like the cars you get on and drive as a kid.
5 years old?
That is
5!
unbelievable.
I don't know if I could do that at my age.
Yeah. I think
Gemini will
mom
do
and
it
dad
for
should
you.
encourage him
Yeah.
so he can buy them all houses when he grows up.
Well, that's a good point, too. But yeah, he spent $3,000 plus worth of stuff. And, you know, if he has the understanding, that was part of the debate, if he has the understanding to plug in the phone, to go into an old phone, to call up Amazon, and to order things he specifically wanted, it wasn't as though he was going, la, 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 6 of this or what. You know, he actually chose what he wanted. So the debate, of course, is how purposeful was that? Pretty purposeful.
Here's where kids go wrong in these situations. Like this was executed perfectly up to this point by this 5-year-old, where you forget what you forget, right, is that mom and dad can see those charges and they can question how they got there, right, when those packages show up. That's when things get sticky. Kids are probably just, I'll just hide him in my room. Like, that's probably what the thought was.
And maybe, he is 5. I don't know if one goes to repercussions that quickly.
Yeah,
He's
true.
just got the smarts to actually get in there, which I just found to be kind of amazing. Okay.
That's amazing. But wait a second. If the parent should be to blame for having a kid that's been on the computer this much at 5 years old.
Yeah.
That he knows how to
blame
get
them
on
for
the
some of that.
phone.
Good point.
There's a math professor. It's so hot here. There's a math professor from the University of Cambridge who shared a hack online how to cool down a hot car fast. And I haven't tried this yet, but I just thought, I guess I could try it. Instead of blasting the AC and waiting forever for it to cool down, try this. Okay. First, you roll down your passenger side window, then open and close your driver's side door 4 or 5 times, like you're fanning the air. And what you're doing is forcing the hot air inside your car out and pulling the cooler air in. And apparently it's effective. One test showed it dropped the inside temp by about 20 degrees in just seconds.
Wow.
So to review,
Okay.
you get in, roll down the passenger side window, then open and close your driver's side door 4 or 5 times. If somebody wants to try that, let me know how it goes at Susan6768 on X. And this isn't a new idea, by the way. It's been circulating the internet since before 2016. But Thrillist.com ran an experiment to find the fastest way, and it was one of them. So maybe it works. Fred, I feel like you should do this.
I've got it memorized now. I think I will try it.
I think
okay, because I'm curious.
I'd be a little more concerned about what people would be like that were looking at me do this. Like, is he okay? Just keep slamming his car door. Like, he might have an anger issue.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you slam it? Open
No,
and
you
close.
just kind of fan
just kind
it.
of close. Yeah, fan.
It still looks pretty
Can I
interesting.
just tell you,
I'm sure.
as a female, that's a little concerning because the first thing we want to do when we go to, let's say, Walmart, I'll just pick on Walmart, is get in the car, close the doors, and lock them, and not be fanning the door open and close 20 times so someone could sneak up behind us. I'm just saying, right, Sue?
Well, I do understand that. My friend Jane used to always check for men in the back seat when she got in her car at Walmart. You never know, she said. They're sneaky. Okay, now this is my kind of cute story of the day. I love this so much. Okay, a mailman in Texas named Ian Burke adopted a dog he remembered from his old postal route. Fred, give me a bell, please. The owner was a Vietnam vet who recently passed away, and his dog Floyd ended up at a shelter. Now, Ian found out, but had to wait to make sure no one related to the guy came to claim Floyd. And Ian stood outside the shelter waiting for it to open the first day Floyd went up for adoption. And the woman who runs the shelter said it was great to see the old myth about mailmen and dogs isn't always true. And they have the cutest picture online if you do want to look it up. It's adorable. He said he just remembered Floyd from his route, and that Floyd was super nice. He looks like a black lab mix and would just wag his tail off anytime anybody got close. It was just super cute.
That's such a
I
cute
love
dog
that
name.
story.
Floyd.
Isn't that nice?
I love that.
And finally in Sue's News, we'll take all the goodness away.
Oh.
Because here's today's random fact. In the 1930s, a brand of toilet paper called Northern Bath Tissue marketed itself with the slogan, quote, 100% splinter-free.
Oh!
Because that was not always the guarantee with the toilet paper back then. Can you imagine?
Splinter free.
Yep, 1930s.
Sounds painful. Okay.
100% splinter-free. And that's it for
Makes you
Susan.
wonder. Makes you wonder what they did before that. That's pretty scary stuff. Thank you, Sue. Appreciate it. I'm Heidi Harrison for Mark Reardon.
I'm Jim Chesko with your money now. With selling activity picking up steam late in the session, stocks finished the trading day mostly lower. The Dow Industrials dropped 436 points or 1%, and the S&P 500 eased 24. But led by Nvidia's 4% leap, the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite tacked on 37 to notch another fresh closing high. Reporting results after the closing bell, J.B. Hunt posted about as expected second quarter earnings and revenue. Investors, they're not impressed. The Arkansas-based trucking company firm shares are down 2% in after-hours trading. If you're a big streamer, you'll know these shows: Severance, The Penguin, The White Lotus, Hacks, and The Studio. They're among the television shows that earned numerous nominations for the 77th Annual Primetime Emmy Awards. Among the nominations announced this morning, the first ever Emmy nom for veteran movie star Harrison Ford for his supporting role in the Apple TV comedy Shrinking. The awards to be handed out September 14th. That's your money now.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
4:31 is the time. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm Heidi Harrison from Mark Reardon. Good afternoon. How you doing? Well, the Supreme Court's allowing Trump to fire these 1,300 people who work for the Department of Education. You have to ask yourself, as long as they've been around, what have they actually done for anybody? I mean, what have they done for grades? What have they done for anybody except push an agenda that a lot of parents don't want to see? Whatever happened to reading, writing, arithmetic, all that kind of stuff, instead of all the children having to learn all the things that they shouldn't be taught by teachers, like sex stuff and all these other kinds of things. And we know that they haven't really done much for us. Jean Evans is here. She's the state lead for the American Federation for Children. Wanted to chat with her about this good news for the Department of Education. How are you? Welcome to the Mark Reardon Show.
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
This is good news. I guess all this dead weight is going to be gone now. And ultimately, Trump's plan is to get rid of the Department of Education. I know we can't just do that unilaterally, but what do they do for us? Can you remind me what they do? What's their purpose?
Well, they do a couple of things. They were created by Jimmy Carter. This is probably a newer one of the cabinet positions, and the Constitution doesn't even talk about education. So it really is something that should be at the states. But they have taken over a lot of K through 12 as well as university stuff. So they handle some of the Pell Grant stuff, some of the student loan things on the higher ed, and then some important things that they do for the K through 12 have to do with IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Act, which was around before the department was created and will be enforced by a different, like civil rights group or something like that. It is not going to, these are laws that have to be followed. They would just be administered by a different branch or a different agency, I should say.
Well, that's what Trump's talking about, apparently, right? It's kind of just having other agencies pick up the slack with student loans and all of that. It sounds like it could be done.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to look at the accomplishments, they really haven't done anything. I mean, so the best things that they've done were pieces that were already in place that they kind of took over because they really didn't have anything to do. Like I said, Carter just created this out of thin air. But moving this back to the states, which is, similar to what he's done with the ECCA, the Child Credit for Education, which will be handled by the states. It's in the federal tax code, but it's going to be administered by states. And they're really emphasizing more local control, specifically parents. But the administration of funding will come through states, and the federal government is going to get out of it. And if you talk to superintendents and even school board leaders, a lot of them will tell you that complying with all these crazy federal guidelines is almost as expensive, if not more so, than the funds that they receive. So it's really not going to be this financial disaster that some folks might have you to believe. It's just going to be a little bit different, but it's also going to be way more local. And I really believe, and I think most of the listeners would agree, that somebody in Washington doesn't know near as much about educating the children of St. Louis or rural Missouri or Montana or wherever. But, somebody in D.C. just doesn't, they don't know what it's like here. It's very different. They're very far away. And also just the levels of bureaucracy that just seem to get in the way with the actual education, which I think you mentioned in the intro.
Absolutely. Jean Evans is with us. She's a state lead for the American Federation for Children. I'm Heidi Harris, in for Mark Reardon. I saw a couple of months back that Pete Hegseth was trying to get the military to look into the policies about homeschooling. I had honestly never thought about that before. The idea, the importance of being able to homeschool in various localities, because obviously the laws are different. We might move and kids are moved around enough and shuffled around enough. How about the consistency of being homeschooled? Do you know anything about what's happening with that? Because that sounds like a great idea to me.
That is a great idea. I don't know what they're doing at the federal level, but I will tell you that here in Missouri, our military families are big supporters of virtual education and school choice. And a lot of them, if they're moving from state to state or location, having the ability to have that consistent learning, like from a virtual program, is super helpful. But in some states, it's really hard to homeschool. I mean, we have a lot of freedom in Missouri, but in other states, you've got to jump through a lot of hoops, and they make it almost impossible to educate your own child, which is just seems crazy to me. I mean, we are the first educators, right, of our children. So I do believe that would be a great policy for our military people, and we've definitely adopted that here in Missouri.
Yeah, I would love to see that happen on a national level, international level, actually, because when people are, doing a service all over the world, and they do need that consistency of the same kind of teaching and not having to be thrown in different schools every 2 years. Very difficult for kids. I had never even thought about it till I saw that he had looked into it. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that would be great to see.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot. So talk to me about what else can be done. I mean, I know Trump's very concerned about education. Obviously, he doesn't like the bureaucracy of the Department of Education. Who does? Right. They're not getting their jobs done. What else needs to be done?
Well, we need more school choice in all of the states, blue states, red states, any states, because when people can vote with their feet by leaving a school that's not educating their children or is teaching an ideology that's different than their own, it forces the schools by competition to get better and be more responsive to parents. Unfortunately, for so many parents, they don't have the ability to move. And even if they could move, sometimes the school in the closest district is not that much better. But if they have school choice like they do, say, for example, in Florida, about half the students take advantage of some sort of school choice program. And what they have found is that even the public schools have gotten better. Those students are doing better than they were before school choice because the public schools have gotten better at responding to the needs of students and parents. So more school choice drives better results. And also, it just makes sense. Parents should be able to decide where to send their kids. It shouldn't be, assigned by zip code. I mean, they don't tell us where we can grocery shop or what hospital, or even universities. We get Pell Grants. We can take them to any university. But for whatever reason, they think, you can only go to the school that we assign you to because it's quote unquote federal or state money. That doesn't make sense in anything else we do. It shouldn't be like that in schools. And school choice is really the answer for a lot of these other problems.
No question. We're speaking with Jean Evans. She is a state lead for the American Federation for Children. I'm Heidi Harrison from Mark Reardon. You know what's interesting? I've heard a lot of people say, well, yeah, but I can't take my kid to a private school, blah, blah, blah neighborhood. But here's the thing. If every parent, depending on the state, a lot of states have discussed this, where they would give the parents back the amount of money that they spend in taxes to educate their child, right? So you've got that voucher. And if all of a sudden parents in, let's say, a rural area, all of a sudden had vouchers, well, guess what would happen? Little schools would spring up to take that money and educate those kids there. So you wouldn't have to be driving 50 miles, right?
That's exactly right. And that's actually what's happened in Florida. These schools have sprung up in rural areas, micro schools that start out small but grow. And even if they don't get too big, they are addressing the needs for those particular kids. And, this one-size-fits-all system that we have just really doesn't work. But you're right. When you have the ability to take that money with you to a school that you choose to support and choose to send your student to, these schools, it's a response to the demand, right? The money is there so the parents can, but also the schools see the writing on the wall and say, hey, you know what? We need to be more responsive because we no longer have a captive audience. We have to do better. We have to deliver better to students, and we have to be more responsive to parents. Because right now, a lot of parents feel like they can't get anywhere when they have a problem or if their student's not learning. They're just kind of stuck. And when you have more options, they're forced to be more responsive. It's really incredible. I mean, there are other states where this is happening, but Florida's been doing it the longest, and that's why their education down there continues to get better. I mean, better and better every year, the performance across the board in private schools and in public schools.
Yeah, you know what's so sad to me? Speaking of what, the schools having to be better, having to be more responsive because they're going to have to be. If they want the butts in the seats, they're going to have to do better, right? The idea that we even had to go to court to prevent kids from being exposed to LGBT books when they're 8 years old. I mean, can you even imagine that had to even go to court? I mean, you can't buy cigarettes till you're 18. You can't get certain video games till you're 18. What, are you kidding me? And this was even an issue that parents should have the right to not have to put their kid in there. I mean, really?
Well, again, like if the parents had the ability to say, you know what, this isn't the right fit for us, we're going to go to this other school because they don't have that there, those problems would resolve themselves. And I feel like legislators across the country are trying to push back on things that are happening in schools, but they're late and they're not as responsive. And it takes years sometimes for this litigation to go through. In the meantime, something else pops up that you don't really want in your schools. But if people could leave, like if you go to a grocery store and you don't like what they're selling, you go to a different one, or you don't like the way they treat you, or it's not the right fit, right? Like some people like Whole Foods, some people like Aldi. They should be able to go to whichever one that they like. So that it should be the same with, it's even more important with education, honestly. And, we have this generation who missed a lot of learning because of COVID, and that was forced upon us. And a lot of people started opting for private schools because their kids didn't learn well online. Some kids do, many kids don't. But a lot of private schools really thrived during that time because so many parents were like, my child is not learning in front of a screen. Or maybe I don't want my kid in front of a screen 8 hours a day. I mean, that's the other thing, too. I mean, it works for some, but not for all.
Well, that's true. And also I think people also found out what kind of garbage was being taught their kids, too. If they were being taught anything, a lot of parents had no idea of some of the things that were being taught. So that was eye-opening for them during COVID.
Yeah, it was probably one of the good things that came out of all this is more parents became aware of what was happening or not happening in schools and how much time was being spent on things that really were not about learning to read, write, history, those sort of basic things that we expect of schools. So I think it was a real eye-opener. And from that perspective, I'm grateful.
Yeah, but you know what? The bottom line is, who owns your children? Some of these people, you hear what they say. They feel like they own your child. I'm sorry, you don't own my child, but that's the way some of them, not all of them, but some of them actually think.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I have to say, I know, teachers. I know most of the teachers I know really work hard. They feel like it's a calling. Yes. And I don't think that these national unions really represent the teachers that I know, right? And I feel like they've been misrepresented for a long time, and I'm not sure how to fix that. But I do know that the school choice, teachers end up making more money when they're school choice. those schools attract better teachers. They compete for teachers. So that creates a better environment for them as well. And we do have a teacher shortage here in Missouri. So we need to create an environment that's more attractive for them to work and thrive, to be in schools where they feel like, they are teaching things they want to teach and that they can be responsive without having, someone put their thumb on them about, no, don't talk to the parents, we'll do it for you, or whatever it is. So I really feel like school choice is good for teachers too. And we've seen polling that shows that 3 out of 4 teachers actually support school choice, vouchers, ESAs, those sort of things. So these people know. They're in schools every day and they support it. So I think that we just got to move in that direction.
Yeah, teachers have a choice as to where they work, don't they?
Well, and a lot of them can take their so if they teach in a district that they don't live in, they can take their kids to that school, so they can practice sort of an open enrollment, but nobody else can, which isn't really fair. Like, well, if they can do it, if it's so great, why can't everybody else do it?
Right. Just want to do what you're doing. That's the truth. Jean Evans, thanks for being on the Mark Reardon Show. She's a state lead for the American Federation for Children. Thank you for looking out for the rights of the kids because they don't vote. And, we really have to watch out for them, make sure they have the right education going forward.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's important. How hard is school choice? Let the kids choose. What are you so worried about? You're freaked out you're going to lose some kids? Can't indoctrinate them all. And I know some fabulous people who are teachers. And she's right. It is a calling. I know some people who actually retired from a major school district and they moved to other parts of the country to continue teaching, to continue giving back, because guess what? Teachers don't quit because of the kids. They quit because of the administration. They don't get the job and go, oh, there are kids here. No, they want to make a difference and they have a calling. So they continue to do it. I'm Heidi Harrison from Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we had some rain move through, and it left us with some wet roadways, but they're actually clearing up fairly quickly. There is, however, an accident westbound 70, and it's really close to Shreve. They've got the 2 right lanes blocked and traffic jams back into downtown. Westbound 64 lining up approaching Kings Highway out past McCausland. Southbound 270. Slow pockets Page down through Doherty Ferry. Southbound 141 is jammed, headed for 64. And westbound 64 also slowing at 270 and out at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Now 55 southbound jamming at Bates, that's normal. And if you're headed into Illinois, it's not bad, not much of a lineup headed for the bridges. Just a little volume on the Illinois side, headed for 3rd Street, coming off of the Poplar. This report is brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they've been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. From windows and siding to kitchens, bathrooms, and outdoor spaces, they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with Traffic, 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox doesn't fake it. He's lived it here in St. Louis. Pro-freedom, pro-family, pro-truth. If it matters to Missouri, it matters to Mark. Mark Cox, mornings on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty, that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Getting a new roof is serious business, and you want to make sure you're working with someone you can trust. Mark Cox here for Correll Roofing Company. My friend Curtis Correll is a lifetime St. Louisan. He's a local business owner, and he's running crews with over 20 years of experience. When Curtis gets on your roof, you can trust him to be honest with you about whether you need a new roof or not. He will work out all of the details with your insurance company and make sure you're getting the right roof for your home. He tells me he doesn't overcommit. So when other roofing companies do that, quality suffers, customer service can drop off. At Correll Roofing, they pay attention to details. They have quality materials and workmanship, and they use quality roofs that are built to last. That's what you want. They can also help you out with luxury line roofing like metal roofs and architectural shingles. Call 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529, or Correll Roofing Co. on Facebook.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-770-0850. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-770-0850. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-770-0850. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-770-0850. 800-770-0850.
Hey, it's Annie. Get your conceal and carry with the certified experts at STS Armory. From beginners and ladies only to pepper spray, STS Armory has the class for you. Call 618-931-GUNS or stop by in Pontoon Beach at the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is St. Louis Conservative. No filters, no fluff. Mark Reardon is back on the mic.
I'm Heidi Harrison from Mark Reardon. How you doing? Good afternoon. Saw something on X. Speaking of X, I know Ethan's all about X. This woman posted on X, "We don't shame Christians who have a problem with children and babies being in church services enough." So I responded and I said, anywhere a cell phone should be silenced is where a baby should be silent. Does that make sense? Is that fair? Weddings, ceremonies. I don't, okay. I'm not going down that road, but I'm not afraid to. It's just, it's interesting how people don't mind their child disrupting everybody else's ceremony. I remember years ago, I worked for the State Bar Association, right? And we had a big ceremony where all of the lawyers who had passed the bar exam were going to be the Supreme Court justices were there and everything, and they were all going to be, you know, they were have to be admitted to the bar. Okay, they pass their bar exam. Okay, big deal. And a lot of these people are pretty young, in their 30s, sometimes 40s. A lot of them had young children. Fine, keep them in the lobby, but they didn't. They brought babies in to the ceremony, and the entire time the Supreme Court justices were trying to talk, the babies were crying, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, babies don't belong where their quiet is necessary. Babies don't belong in that situation. And I love babies. That's not fair to the other people who wanted to hear what the Supreme Court justices had to say. Have somebody else come with you if you want your picture with your family that you've now been admitted to the bar. You want your picture, great. Then bring your family. Have somebody out in the lobby with the children. And when the ceremony is over, get your picture. But bringing a child in who's going to disrupt everybody else, I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. Children don't want to sit through a church service. They're a year old or 2 or whatever. They don't want to sit through it. You're distracted because you're trying to keep them quiet. Everyone else is distracted when they make noise. I totally disagree. And I'll take the heat for that. That's okay with me. Coming up, this is very interesting. Home Depot co-founder and billionaire Ken Langone has retracted support for President Trump in recent years and had some nasty things to say about his tariffs, but he's changed course. We will talk about that next hour on the Mark Reardon Show, among other things. Duane Patterson is going to be joining us, who writes for Hot Air. You know him. He's Hugh Hewitt's producer. He's a good guy. We'll also talk a little bit more about what's going on with the Ukraine and the idea of sending weapons over there. I mean, when's this thing going to end? I don't know. You send weapons over, then but the problem is Russians can put all these people through a buzzsaw. They've got a huge amount of people they can put in a bus on. They don't care. Putin doesn't care how many people he kills. So is this going to help? I mean, obviously, Europe's looking at this and going, yeah, we need to help Ukraine because otherwise it's going to be our problem. So that's part of it, too. And I do think that Trump is he's trying to finish this the best way he possibly can. He's doing the best he can with this. We don't want this to escalate. We don't want World War III. Do not want that. And I think Trump very nearly avoided and averted World War III by dropping the bunker buster bomb. By the way, if you get time, you can listen to my podcast on that, which is on the Odyssey app, Heidi Harris Show, where I interviewed a retired Air Force general about the bunker buster and about some of the things that were done in Operation Midnight Hammer, which was incredible. I mean, to have this weapon that was designed specifically for this purpose, not necessarily just for Iraq, but for this, Iran, I keep saying Iran, but for this purpose. And to watch it, they had to fly did you know this? 36 hours, not 18, 36 hours round trip, 36 hours. Couldn't exactly get off and go wander around the lobby. 36 hours round trip to get in, to get out with anybody knowing. It was amazing. It's incredible. Would Biden have done that? And then you woke up. Yeah. Okay. Much more to come on the Mark Reardon Show. I'm Heidi Harrison for Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've got an issue on westbound 70. There's an accident near Shreve, and it's blocking the two right lanes. Traffic is really jammed behind that. Also jammed westbound 40, approaching Kings Highway out through McCausland, approaching Lindbergh through 270, and some moderate volume out west. We've got 70 westbound, of course, the jam at Shreve. Then you get a break, and it looks pretty good until Wentzville. Southbound 270, slow pockets. It's pretty slow from Page down through Doherty Ferry, but northbound is jammed as well, especially at Ladue Road. Southbound 170 slowing at 64. Southbound 55 slow south of Arsenal down through Bates. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Do you know how to handle your money in retirement? I mean, this is not a situation where you can just wing it, right? And I always like the idea of getting educated about what you're facing, which is why I love what financial and tax architects do. They are the trusted retirement planning team. They're really the best, and they've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. But what they do is offer this one-night adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. And you learn in this class how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize income. Here's how retirement and money work. And if you decide you want them to help you with a plan, they customize it. They tailor it specifically to your goals, but also to your values. And it feels good to just kind of lay it out for someone who's an expert and have them take it from there. So go online and register for a class, fta-ria.com. F as in Frank, TA-RIA.com.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
This summer, while you stay cool, our first responders stay on the front lines. The St. Louis First Responder Canteen is there to keep them hydrated and supported. Find out how you can help by visiting 971talk.com/talkinaction.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Duane Patterson coming up after the break, plus an audio cut of the day. We're back to it on the Mark Reardon Show right after Fox News.
For the Rust Belt, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump in Pittsburgh this afternoon joining an energy and AI summit.
Technology and energy giants are announcing billions of dollars in investments for artificial intelligence data centers and energy infrastructure to power it all.
You're going to see some real action here, so get ready. Lots of jobs, lots of success. Really a beautiful thing is it's going to be beautiful to behold.
President Trump joined Republican Senator Dave McCormick and Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro at a first-of-its-kind Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit in Pittsburgh. Political leaders hope to make the region a hub for robotics and artificial intelligence. That, President Trump says, will require the country to unleash energy dominance, boosting coal and gas production.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Also at the summit, the president praised a new trade deal with Indonesia and said the U.S. would be fighting China in a very friendly fashion. A confirmation hearing held today for former Trump National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, the president's nominee for UN ambassador. He told the panel it's time to root out anti-Semitism at the UN.
From 2015 to 2023, the General Assembly passed 154 resolutions against Israel versus 71 against all other nations combined.
Walt says the UN has drifted away from its core mission of peacemaking, and he was also asked about so-called Signalgate, where a journalist was added to an unclassified chat. While he served as National Security Advisor, he said no classified information was shared. The House has canceled the remainder of votes for today after Republicans failed to pass a procedural rule to set up debate on cryptocurrency legislation. Speaker Mike Johnson says the votes will take place tomorrow. Wall Street, most stocks fell. The Dow lost 436. The Nasdaq gained 37. America is listening to Fox News.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
We will continue to keep an eye on the sky through about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight for a couple of scattered thunderstorms, some downpours and lightning out there. 80s this evening, very humid, partly cloudy, 74 overnight. Wednesday, mainly sunny, maybe a spot afternoon storm. Hot and humid, 95 for the high on Wednesday. Wednesday night, warm and humid, 77. Hot and humid, 94 on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Heidi Harrison from Mark Reardon. How you doing? Good afternoon. Always a privilege sitting in for Mark as he takes some well-deserved time off. Got the great crew with me, as always. Got Ethan here, Sue, Fred. Always a good time. And joining us live is Duane Patterson. Writes for Hot Air. He produces Hugh Hewitt's show. A Politico kind of guy. Not Politico like the website, but a Politico in the good sense. How are you, my friend?
Boy, am I glad you cleared that up.
I did. I didn't want you to get mad at me, but, before they picked that website, that was a cool, term that people use to describe some other people, right?
Yes, it was. How are you, Heidi? Haven't talked to you in a while.
I'm doing well. It is good to talk to you. I see here that Mike Johnson is now asking Pam Bondi to explain the Epstein statement and kind of make things more transparent. You're not buying it? Okay.
I really wish at this point I could care about the story. I'm at the stage now where the only thing of interest to me is Bill Clinton's involvement, and then beyond that, because honestly, if there was something on Donald Trump, because the left is trying to embrace it now as though they've never been in power before, right? And so the Democrats are Hakeem Jeffries and people in the Senate are saying, "Oh, we need to release all these files. We have all of this disclosure." Well, where were they the last 4 years? And if you think there's something bad on Donald Trump in there, which is what their inference is, don't you think we might have seen that by now?
Right. They would have pulled it out. They would have had it, and they would have pulled it out. By the way, how about Gavin Newsom harassing J.D. Vance and his family when they're in California trying to enjoy Disneyland? How low class is that?
Gavin Newsom is really a special kind of stupid, a special kind of slimy. So I just got back. My wife and I were on an Alaska cruise, right? So we go up to Juneau and all the stuff that you do on an Alaska cruise. It was grand. I was too cheap to pop for the data plan on the cruise, so I was totally unplugged for the entire last week. I get home on Sunday, and what hits my inbox first? That Gavin Newsom and the Democrats in California are now totally in the camp of defending illegal child labor as long as it's harvesting pot fields. I mean, you can't make this stuff up in this state.
You can't make it up. It's amazing to me. We're speaking with Duane Patterson. I'm Heidi Harris in for Mark Reardon. What's amazing? He was just down in South Carolina, as you know, a couple days ago. I mean, does this guy really think his... Yes. Does he really think his shtick's going to fly in South Carolina? I mean, is he that completely devoid of awareness?
Yes. The short answer is yes. Gavin Newsom thinks that he has got what Kamala Harris never had, which is charisma. And he does have charisma.
Yes, he does.
He does have charisma, but what he can't get away from is how rotten the rest of the country views California governance. Nobody in the country is clamoring for, gee, if only we could take what's going on in California and nationalize it. No blue state is even saying that.
Yeah, California would be Haiti if it weren't for the federal government. Can we be honest about that, please, Duane? Yes. I mean, come on, you know and I know.
Yes, we're at the point now.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Yes, I'm a Californian now. Have been my entire life. But as soon as my wife retires, I think we're probably gonna bail out because there's not much here worth saving. Did you see? Have you seen this? Have you seen that show Silo on Apple TV? You know about it?
Nope.
Dystopian show where you can't go outside, and some unknown entity 140 years ago builds a 144-level silo where everybody lives, all self-contained community in this silo. That is going to be the Pacific Palisades in Season 3 because apparently the state Senate in California just passed a measure that would allow the L.A. county authorities to basically steal the land out from under everybody. You can't build on it. You can't clear the land that burned. So we're going to buy it for dirt cheap. And it's not eminent domain. It's quote voluntary, but we've made it so you can't use the land otherwise, and we're the only ones that can buy it.
Yeah,
and so they're going to steal the land out from under the people that had it, and they're going to put high density, high rise, low income, high density housing on it.
Well, I heard they were going to do that like in Altadena, but are they going to do that in Pacific Palisades too?
Yes, they're going to do it in the Palisades. The Palisades is going to be a giant silo of low income people.
You know, I just saw some pictures yesterday because I haven't been down in California for a while that Adam Carolla posted looking down over the beach. I think it was Malibu. And not only are the houses not rebuilt, to your point, there's literally wreckage sitting there, everything burnt and that's not even cleared. I mean, I'm stunned at that, Duane.
They can't even get the permits to clear the land because there's environmental concerns of moving the debris that's there.
I'm speechless.
It's just asinine.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I knew they hadn't had a lot of permits and all that, but the idea that you're just going to let all of this. I have some friends who had a fire in their garage a couple months back, and it's quite a deal. The whole garage burned. They had to go in and clear everything out, but they do. They clear it out. They put it in the dumpster. They do this. They do the asbestos abatement. They did stuff. They've been doing things. They put all the new trusses up. I mean, they're doing it one step at a time. Meanwhile, Pacific Palisades, nothing's happening at all.
So there is a former military base, helicopter base, in Orange County, and it used to have two huge blimp hangars in one city in Orange County. And one of those hangars burned to the ground because a bunch of homeless people were in it and accidentally set fire to it and burned it to the ground. Wow. Once they finally got to the site and were able to start to clean it up, it was so full of toxic waste that they had to spray all this kind of goo to kind of keep it from blowing away. They still haven't cleaned the rest of it up. This has been going on for 2.5 years, and it's acres and acres and acres of land, and all that's left is the 4 concrete corner posts for where the doors were of this hangar. So we now have in Southern California our own version of Stonehenge.
No, but the funny, not funny part is that this is what the entire country would look like, inefficiency. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago when you had Pete Buttigieg in charge of transportation, they had a car overturned on the freeway between California and Vegas. People were on the road in 100-degree weather for 44 hours. They could have gone down. They could have called the base right there. You got Fort Irwin right there. You could have called the base. They could have put some stuff that would have gotten cars off the road. I talked to a friend of mine who's a retired general. I said, General, they could have gotten those cars. He said, of course. They put, I guess it's a bridging or whatever. They put it down. They can get tanks off the road. Of course they could have done it. 44 hours these cars sat there. This is California because Gavin Newsom never made a phone call to Fort Irwin to get the problem solved. This could be the entire country. That story didn't get a lot of attention. I know you know about it, but a lot of people didn't. And it's important because it's indicative of the way they think.
It's sclerotic and neurotic at the same time. And you mentioned Pothole Pete Buttigieg, former mayor of Fort Bend, Indiana. He is trying to make some noise like he's going to run for the primary, too. I don't think he's got the charisma to compete with Gavin Newsom. I know Kamala Harris is flirting with a run again. Honestly, there's no bench. There is no bench on the Democratic side right now. I know Cory Booker's been acting like he wants to run. But honestly, if you're the Democratic Party, who are you going for right now?
Right. There is no bench, to your point. They have, and not only do they have nobody, they have no ideas. I mean, when you have the guy who created ChatGPT, and you know the story, backing up and saying, I'm politically homeless now. He's even backed off from the Democrats. He's been a Democrat for decades. A lot of money this guy has. I mean, a lot of people are backing away from them because we don't even know who they are anymore.
Right. This is a party. This is a group of people that, coming back in where we started, they are defending child labor. I mean, 14-year-olds working pot crop fields. And the reason they're supporting it, the reason they're defending it, is because Donald Trump is against it on the other side. And as long as Donald Trump's against something, we have to be for it. Well, that's not really the way to have a winning party.
Yeah, I posted something on my Facebook page the other day about the situation, and I had a liberal friend of mine pop in, and he says, "Oh, I guess you don't care about the children who are being separated." I said, "No, I care about the kids who are being forced to work in the pot fields, and there's a lot worse going on with the kids, as you know, in the fields where other things are growing, and they're setting up little brothels in there, and the little kids who've disappeared in the country." I said, "I care about them because when you have a border that's not controlled, and you've got still illegals running around, you have to make sure these kids are being taken care of, and nobody's asking. And if you're getting separated from your family, it's because, maybe you had a baby with an illegal. Well, that's on you. That's on you. It's not my fault."
Absolutely. Babylon Bee, one of my favorite sites I go to look at a couple times a day. They now have a piece about Gavin Newsom starting a brand new underground railroad, channeling a bunch of Mexican kids into the pot fields of Camarillo. It's very
It's not funny. It's not funny, but that's the attitude, right? They don't care if these kids are being taken advantage of. Nobody cares about the exploitation of these children.
You remember Nancy Pelosi? Nancy Pelosi, who everything in her career has been about the children. It's always about the children, right? And what is Nancy Pelosi doing about this? She's saying nothing about it. Remember, Gavin Newsom is her nephew, right? And you're not seeing anybody want to say anything about this story other than, well, but it's wrong. We need to leave the status quo. The marijuana field, the marijuana crop, that's too big of an industry in California. We rely on it. We've got to leave things alone. But no, you don't leave it alone. You're literally using forced child labor. What's next? You got to go take the Uyghurs from China and have them replace them? I mean, what's next?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the RNC running. All they have to do to run ads against Gavin Newsom is, just roll a car down Huntington Beach and these various places in San Francisco where all the homeless are there with their motorhomes and all these things and the trash and all this stuff, and say, is this what you want your state to look like? I mean, it's very simple, yes or no.
Yeah, the ads literally write themselves.
Yes.
Steve Hilton, who's running for governor out here for the Republicans, I have no idea if he's got a. I like him a lot. I have no idea if he has a chance or not, but things are going so bad for the Democrats right now that Hilton, I saw a couple different polls out where he's pulling 19-20% in a multi-person field. He actually could do something just because the Democrats are that incompetent.
Wow. And he's a smart guy, and how long has he been in America? I know he's a Brit, right?
Yeah, he actually used to be the chief of staff for Cameron, David Cameron.
Okay.
When Cameron was prime minister.
Okay. Real sharp guy. Well, listen. Yeah.
Conservative chops. But he's been here in the States for, 15 years.
Yeah. Well, listen, California is just a disaster. And I don't know what the Palisades and how many people who moved out of California because they don't have houses anymore, how much that would factor into an election. We don't know. But what we do know is we don't want the entire country looking like California. That's for sure. Duane, great talking to you as always. Please give Hugh my very best.
Will do. Take care.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm Heidi Harrison from Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this afternoon, we had a random rain shower that caused some problems, but things are looking better. But westbound 70, there was an accident near Shreve in the right lanes that caused a delay. Southbound 170 jams headed for 64. Southbound 270, slow pocket south of Page, and that goes down through Doherty Ferry. We've got westbound 364, pretty heavy and slow, headed for the bridge tonight. And westbound 70, of course, jam behind Shreve, but also slow between Lindbergh and the Blanchette Bridge. Southbound 55, just a little slow at Bates, and we still look good headed into Illinois. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella Window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters.
When you're approaching retirement,
retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Now back to Mark Reardon, calling out the nonsense, one segment at a time. 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Heidi Harrison for Mark Reardon. Hope you're having a good day. Always enjoy hanging with Ethan and Fred and Sue, all gang here. If you'd like to follow 97.1 FM Talk on all the socials, just do so at 97.1 FM Talk, 97.1 FM Talk. You can follow Mark Reardon there at Mark Reardon KFTK. It's Mark Reardon KFTK. And you can follow me, Heidi Harris Show, on all the socials. And check out my podcast, which is on the Odyssey app. I did another one. It's not, you know how podcasts work. They have to pick it up. You post it, and then the various sites pick it up. I did one earlier today about Chip and Joanna Gaines. They are the people who have that decorating show on cable TV, which, frankly, I haven't paid for cable TV in so many years. But I'll see it in waiting rooms, or sometimes, and so anyway, they're big Christians. And then they decided to do a show featuring a family, including 2 dads and 2 kids they bought, basically. So I had some thoughts on that, which you can just check them out on my podcast if you would like to at a later date. Just look for that and you will find them. Here's some good news. Home Depot co-founder Ken Langone had basically kind of retracted support for President Trump a while back and slammed his tariffs as a name that starts with B that I can't use on the air, a word. He reversed course during an interview with CNBC today, claiming he is now, listen to this, sold on Trump and that he's got a good shot at going down in history as one of our best presidents ever. This is such good stuff. He's 89 years old, by the way. He told CNBC he's never been more excited about the future of America than he is right now. And like it or not, this guy is getting things done. That is great. He praised Trump's strike on Iran as miraculous and said the One Big Beautiful Bill Act has a lot of merit and will trigger significant economic growth. He told CNBC in 2024 he was afraid Trump would spend the next 4 years getting even, but he reversed his position today, saying, I'm happy to say I'm comfortable he's not doing that. Exactly. The last thing Trump needs to be doing is running around settling scores. That does nobody any good. I think this is great. This is great that he has reversed course on this and he sees that Trump is getting, like it or not, he's getting things done right. You may not like the way he does it, but he's trying to make sure these wars stop, make sure we still look strong, make sure this thing in the Middle East doesn't get worse. I mean, he's doing the best. I mean, he's got a lot of issues right now happening as a president. I think he's done a great job because he just gets it done. And you're not going to stop wars. There are always going to be people wanting to take from somebody else the land, the women, the money, whatever it might be. And that's as long as human beings have existed. That's what's gone on. But God bless Trump for having, can you imagine? I mean, it took a lot of guts to say, I want the bunker buster. I want all these weapons. And I know people in the Air Force, and I was what they call an honorary commander out at the Air Force Base, at Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas for almost 20 years. Got to know a lot of these fighter pilots and their families. And I mean, these people are amazing. They're brilliant. They're just incredible. And they dedicate their lives, especially out at Nellis Air Force Base, which is where I am in Vegas. That's where they test. They do the test and training. And what they do is they see what's needed out in the field, in the field of battle. And then they develop techniques to be able to battle that particular thing, whatever it might be. That's what they do. It's a lot of what they do out there. and to actually see this stuff working and knowing they have a huge area out there, Nellis Test and Training Range, this huge amount of land out in the desert where they test a lot of these things, including the bunker buster that was used. These are the kind of things that, and so it's great to, it'd be nice if you lived in a world where you had these bombs and never had to use them. That'd be nice. But the reality is there are people who only respond when you're stronger than they are. That's it. That's it. That's in the case of Iran. I saw something today in Iran. Speaking of Iran, they actually put a woman in jail. Did you know that they don't allow women to sing in public, and they haven't since 1979? I didn't know this. A woman cannot sing in public since 1979 in Iran. So no karaoke bars, girls. Whatever. They actually put a woman in jail for doing a movie about singing. I mean, this is and of course, you can't do movies or you can't act or you can't do anything like that. All these lefty morons in America who talk about Iran have no idea what it's like to live there and have no freedom. Have to cover up head to toe, have no freedom, can't do this, can't do that, can't have an opinion, can't do a movie, can't sing, how would you? I don't think you're going to have a talk show there, girls on The View. I mean, when you think about it, I've been getting paid to talk for a long time, over 25 years. And in most countries in the world, you don't get to say, you know what I think? You'll get shot. I mean, it's such a gift to be able to express our opinions here in the world, in America. And people don't have to agree with them. They don't have to even want to hear them. But the truth is, we're able to do it. Most of the world does not have that. And we forget that sometimes. These dorks who want to defend Iran, the Iranian people, I'll defend all day long, but not the leadership. The Iranian people don't want to live under this garbage. They don't want this. Can you imagine somebody coming in tomorrow and telling all the women you have to cover up and this and that? You can't do this. You can't do that. I mean, can you imagine how quickly that can happen? We take our freedoms for granted sometimes. We really do. We don't think about how tenuous our freedom is and how important it is to remind the world that we have the weapons and we're going to use them. And then the media immediately came out. Oh, well, it didn't really do the damage he said it did. Instead of championing our amazing folks in the military who spent 36 hours round trip flying over there and back without being detected, and all the 125 aircraft involved. All the, you have the aircraft that's, supporting them and all the different things. Okay. So you can check my podcast out. When I interviewed the Air Force General about it. Incredible. It's just an incredible attack. It was just amazing what happened, the way it was executed. Incredible. And these people, this is what they devote their lives to. And the media, instead of giving them any credit for being so amazing, going over there, just not bombing the entire city, just taking care of the things they wanted to take care of and getting out of there without being detected, instead of getting anybody credit about that. Anybody. No, we can't do that. Instead of that, they've got to tear them down. Well, it was weird. I was watching, totally off the subject, but for some reason, I was watching some coverage about the Columbia, when the shuttle Columbia burned up. I was watching both that one and the Challenger. I don't know, last couple of days, just news stories that came out at the time, the news coverage. I found it kind of fascinating. And at one point, Ronald Reagan, Larry Speaks was the spokesperson at the time, who came out and was saying that the president had been told, and the president had been taken into his office where there was a TV, no cell phones or anything then, right? And so he went into his office and was looking. I'm watching the TV, just quietly watching. They're trying to get a quote out of him. What did he do? What did he say? Did he say anything? And then he says, well, he's sad and he's anxiously waiting for information. So what does the media do? They go out and portray Ronald Reagan. Well, the president's anxious. That's what they said. And I was listening to it and I was, oh my gosh, I just watched Larry Speaks come out and talk about it. The president's anxious for more information. And then the media cuts it off as, oh, the president's anxious. I mean, these people, they kill me. That's why no one believes them anymore. That's for sure. I'm Heidi Harrison for Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we had another random shower move through the area, and it left us with a delay. If you are westbound on 364, which is usually fine, well, it's a parking lot. There's heavy rain out there. They have the right lane blocked by a stall, and traffic is jammed not back to 270, but back past 141. Also, some volume westbound 70 near Kings Highway and past the airport as that rain shower moves through that area. 64 westbound jams approaching Kings Highway out through McCausland, slowing again at Boone's Crossing, and southbound 270. It's mainly slow pockets from Olive down through Manchester. And if you're headed into Illinois, we still look good on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll free at 888-367-6512.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
5:30 is the time. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
But we also are going to have a reinstitution of the Angelino card, something that Mayor Garcetti started during COVID that will actually provide cash assistance to people. Because, you have people who don't want to leave their homes, who are not going to work, and they are in need of cash. It's a couple $100s, I don't know the exact amount, and this should be available in about a week.
Wow. I'm going to move to California because I don't feel like leaving the house either. Oh, wait a minute. I don't even know what to say. That was Karen Bass, mayor of LA, by the way. I don't even know what to say to these people. They're so completely disconnected from reality. So that's the solution, to support the illegals, to give them money to stay home. I have trouble wrapping my mind around some of the responses from these people. Nobody cares what's happening to women and children who are being victimized as a result of what's going on the border. The illegals who are still here, because a lot of times what happens is if there are people in the country illegally, and of course this is happening now with Trump, with the ICE raids and things like that, people who are in the country illegally, their friends will threaten them. They'll threaten to out them. I remember the last police ride along that I went on, a friend of mine was getting ready to retire. I went on with him, and one of the things that we did that day was go over to somebody's house. There was a domestic violence incident. And it turned out that one of the roommates was threatening to call ICE on another, this is 4 years ago. No, it's more than that, 5-6 years ago, threatening to call ICE on another roommate. And this is what happens. They they're holding it over each other's heads. Because let's face it, in life, you are more likely to be victimized, no matter who you are, by somebody you know. You're more likely to be burglarized. You're more likely to be sexually assaulted. You're more likely to be killed. You're more likely to everything in any kind of way victimized by somebody you know. And people tend to generally hang around, not always, but hang around people they know. You've got immigrant communities, so to speak. Who's going to victimize you? Another immigrant, most likely. And if they can hold it over your head that you're illegally here, you're not going to speak out. I just saw a story in another city of a woman who'd been attacked. I'm cleaning this up for the air. She'd been attacked, did some horrible things, and the girl was told, well, if you say anything, I'm going to, you're going to get kicked out of the country. That's not right. When you're illegally here in America, you still should have the right. And I know most sheriffs and most communities will encourage illegals, even if you're here illegally, if you've been victimized, you come tell us. We're not going to put up with that nonsense. So there are people trying to keep their own, kinfolk down or country folk down by threatening them. And that goes for any immigrant community. You're illegally here. I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to threaten you. So why is that never discussed? Liberals always want to talk about the whole idea of, we're separating families. If your family's separated, you're stupid. You had a baby with somebody you shouldn't have had a baby with. Don't have a baby with somebody who's illegally in the country. Don't do it. It's your own fault. Not Trump's fault. I had a friend years ago who was a pilot, a military pilot, who moved to Australia because it was hard to get his wife here for whatever reason. She was Australian and she was here for a while, but they were concerned about, there was a possibility at that time that they were going to be separated, where she couldn't get back. I don't remember what the real reason was, but he moved to Australia, stayed there. He didn't want to put her in a situation where she couldn't get back here or whatever. He made that decision. You have to be smart about these things. It's not Trump's fault if your family's getting yanked apart. Your family's being separated. You did that. You did that. I have a friend who works in immigration. He was actually a longtime producer of mine, and worked together for about 15 years. And he got smart and got a real job. Got out of radio, got a real job. Just kidding. Love radio still, but he went to school, got his master's, and now he works in the legal field. And he deals with a lot of illegal immigrants, trying to help people get their actual papers, do it the correct way. And he said a lot of these people, they pay a certain amount of money, He's been calling them back. They're not there. They're gone. They went home. A lot of them. And I would too. If I were in the country illegally, I would self-deport. I wouldn't wait around for a knock on my door. Leave. How could you? Why would you want to live in a place where you're constantly anywhere, where you're looking over your shoulder? You don't know what's going to happen. So it makes total sense to me that's what you do. But he said a lot of people, a lot of his clients are self-deporting. They don't want to deal with it. What you don't want to do is wait until the decisions are made for you. And if you're illegally here, decisions are going to be made for you. If you get rounded up, your stuff's going to be who knows where. Your pets are going to be who knows where. Why would you do that to yourself? It's almost like, and it's not really, but it's almost like, older parents. Anybody got older parents who won't move? Raising my hand. Anybody got older parents? They won't move? And if you don't do that when you're young and healthy enough to make decisions, and you fall and break a hip, or you become mentally disabled or something like that, guess what? Decisions are made for you. And you may not like it. Your stuff's going to get thrown in the dumpster. Who knows what will happen to your pets, maybe given to family, friend. Who knows? I mean, if you want to make decisions about your life, you need to make them while you're still capable of making them. And it's kind of the same principle, whether you're an older parent and you think, I'm going to die in this house. Well, okay, I hope you get to. But if you don't, then your stuff's all going in a dumpster and you may have to move somewhere you don't want to move. Whereas if you take the time to look for a place, I know some people who are doing this. A friend of mine who was a pilot and flew during Vietnam. He's an amazing guy. He and his wife are in their 80s, sharp as tacks. But they decided to move out of their house. I mean, they're just one step ahead. Moved out of their big house, told their kids they had 30 days to come get whatever they had still in the house, and said, we're having a giant garage sale and we're moving. And they got to move into one of those apartments that you pay for. It's not really assisted. I guess it's kind of assisted living. Before the decision was made for them. See, they're smart. That's what you do. So you can pick the place. You can make the decision. You can see what happens to all your stuff. Instead of it all going in a dumpster because you're in the hospital and now you're not coming home from the hospital and your kids have to do this. Just throwing it out there, folks. I know several people in this situation right now with their parents. And it's going to go badly when the decision has to be made by somebody else. And if you're illegally here in America, decisions will be made for you. You may be separated from your kids, your pets, your stuff. Who knows? Why would you take that chance? Go. Why would you look over your shoulder? Just get out of here. It makes no sense to me. And that is not Trump's fault. That is your fault. So I don't know. Rahm Emanuel, former U.S. ambassador to Japan and a lot of other things, Obama advisor and whatnot. He said Democratic voters today said are fully caffeinated double espresso when it comes to involvement in politics at the moment. Really? I see them as, not having any bench at all. As Duane said, we were talking with Duane Patterson. There's no bench. He said, if you look at every special election and every primary, Democrat turnout since 2024 is way up on a comparative basis. And it's very, very, he said, Democratic voters are very energized, are not waiting for the leadership to get their act together. See, that's part of it too. You got Rahm Emanuel, who is an older guy, who's speaking for the younger generation. I don't even know. AOC? Is that all they've got? Not the Republicans have a bunch of young people, because they don't. And I get it, but my gosh. More left-wing Democrats, I'm quoting this from The Hill, have said their party did not go far enough in their direction to excite the party's base, while centrists have said the party went too far left and scared off moderate voters. I would go with that one instead. Emanuel, in May, in a Wall Street Journal article, called the Democratic brand toxic, weak, and woke. Right. Because they don't stand for anything. All the Democratic Party stands for now, as far as leadership, is everything that's anti-American, everything that's anti-family, everything that's anti-parental rights. Tell me what they stand for. They're just against everything, but they're not for anything. What are they for? Tell me what they're for. I don't know what they're for. They don't know what they're for. And once again, I don't know what happened with the Epstein files. Who knows? Now, obviously, the Democrats are seeing a weakness here in Trump. Senate Minority Whip Dick Durbin today joined fellow Democrats in calling for the release of the federal files in the case involving disgraced financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. See, that's the thing. Now they want the files released because they feel like it's going to hurt Trump. They never stop trying to hurt Trump. Whatever hurts Trump, that's what they're good for. The American people deserve to know the truth, Hakeem Jeffrey said. Oh, brother. Since when? Since when do the American people deserve to know the truth? But you watch this, guys. They're finally seeing, in their mind, something that will divide Trump and his base. But once again, I don't know how that's going to affect anything in the midterms. Are they going to hold Congress responsible for that? I don't think so. By the way, I just finished reading. I've had this book on my shelf for several years. I finally got around to reading it. Steve Scalise's book. Remember him? He was the House Whip, shot at that baseball game, 2017. Remember that story? I had no idea. This goes to show you how downplayed it was in the media. I had no idea how that guy fired off 100 bullets. 100 before he was taken out by agents there to protect Steve Scalise and the people who came on the scene. I'm not saying that his people stood around and watched that happen, but people who came on the scene who protected him. 100 bullets were fired off in all kinds of different directions at this baseball game. 100. And, the media, I don't remember the media making a big deal about it. Yes, people supported him, and yes, people were happy he was back. But there wasn't anywhere near the coverage of how horrible that event was if it had been a Democrat involved. I hate to say that, but it's true. But it's a really good book. I had no idea what this guy went through. No idea. All the things, the miraculous things that happened as a result, that happened around his injury and stuff like that. So highly recommend it. People seem to be together for 5 minutes there because, at the time they were saying an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us, which is true. But the media, they never really talked about how bad it was for him and how terrible it could have been for many more people had a lot of things not come together. So just a reminder. big reminder of how good we have it here in America, that we should be grateful for every single day that we have. But you can't trust the media. They're not going to tell you what you need to hear. They're not going to tell you what I want to say need to hear. I'm talking about the facts. They're not going to tell you that. They tell you what they want you to hear. And that's why people don't trust them anymore. You know, it's so frustrating. They can't just tell you this is what happened today and not put a spin on it. There's nothing wrong with a spin or an opinion or anything like that. But when you're talking about news, just give me the news straight. I mean, I've been doing talk radio for a long time, and I could write news. If I had to just write straight news, I don't know how to do it for time like Sue does or anything like that. But if you gave me a news story and said, just pull the facts out of it and don't put a spin on it, as a conservative, I could do that. Even as a conservative, I wouldn't spin it. I could write it in a way that wasn't slanted, like Sue does. But nowadays, they don't care. They don't even, and the thing it's sad, they don't even understand what the slant is. They don't even get it, that they're slanted. Huh? What? That's what happened. Well, he's separating them from all these kids are being separated from their parents. What about the kids in the fields being forced to work, huh? What? I don't see that. Brother. I'm Heidi Harrison for Mark Reardon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we had another round of rain move through the area, and some people down south are thinking, what? I never got any. But that's what it was, kind of scattered showers. And we're left with westbound 64 lining up Kings Highway out through McCausland, 141 out through Boone's Crossing. But the rain really had hit westbound 364, and it's still a slow go as you head for the Missouri River. We've got moderate volume westbound 70 between 170 and the Blanchette Bridge. And southbound 270, still some slow pockets south of Page, down through Gravois. We look great, though, downtown, and if you're headed into Illinois on the bridges. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Jason Aldean is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater on July 19th. Want to go for free? Listen to The Mark Reardon Show all this week from 3 to 6. We're giving away a pair of tickets every day through Thursday.
Hey, let's make this the summer that you really do something special for your home, and that could include the help of Banner Construction. They do great work here in St. Louis. They've been around for 30-plus years. Oh, by the way, they're looking for carpenters right now. So if you are a carpenter and you need a gig, get with Banner Construction. I'll give you the details on that here in just a couple of seconds. But they really specialize in two great products. James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding, which is amazing. If you put it on your home, you're going to be blown away. Your neighbors will be blown away. It looks great. There's not a lot of maintenance. There's different options and different styles and different textures, and they can walk you through all that. It's a free in-home design consultation. The other thing they specialize in, and Pella Windows, it's awesome. They're celebrating 100 years in business. They started way back in 1925. They put a lot of their trust into Banner Construction, and you should too. So if you need new windows, if you need new siding, if you're a carpenter who needs a new gig, Banner Construction. Here's how you get a hold of them: 314-569-1050, 569-1050. The website, bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
It is that time. We are giving away tickets, as you heard just a moment ago, for Jason Aldean. All week this week through Thursday, you have your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Jason Aldean coming to the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater on July 19th, just a few days from now. The number to call, 314-241-9797 for your chance to win a pair of tickets for Jason Aldean in concert on July 19th. Go ahead and call now.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling a bit uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Might help to know which caller you need to be in order to win those Jason Aldean tickets. Call the number 10 to win yourself a pair of tickets to Jason Aldean. 314-241-9797.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Back to Mark Reardon, because someone's got to say it out loud. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Here's in for Mark Reardon. Ryan Recker's in for Mark tomorrow. We love Ryan Recker. Good guy. Had a good time hanging out with y'all today. You can follow me on all the socials, Heidi Harris Show, and my podcast is up on the Odyssey app, Heidi Harris Show. It's now time for the cut of the day. Correct, Ethan?
Yes, ma'am.
Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
Let's release them in the community. Wait 3 or 5 years. Pardon me?
Are you an MS-13 member? It says so.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. This guy wouldn't like to serve his nation. This guy ain't got the balls to be an ICE officer. He hasn't got the balls to be a Border Patrol agent. This guy lives in his mother's basement. The only thing that surprises me, you don't have purple hair and a nose ring. Get out of here, you loser.
It's Tom Homan. Oh, I love him. He's the border czar, as you know. He's a big guy, too. He's a pretty big guy. You don't mess with. That's so funny. See, can I just be honest? That's what we need more of. I mean, if you're going to be rude like that, I was in Washington, D.C. a couple of years back, and we were at the Federation for American Immigration Reform event. And I know Mark Cox is gone, probably Reardon too, but Mark Cox was gone back in D.C. And I was in front of the ICE building, Immigration and Customs building, and they're in D.C. And I was introducing Ted Cruz at the event. We were having an event out in front, and Ted Cruz was going to speak and this and that. Okay, so Ted Cruz shows up, and I introduce him. And I've always liked Ted Cruz. I know some people pick on him, but I've always liked him. So he shows up, introduce him, great. He's speaking. Out of nowhere, comes this weenie of a guy on a bicycle, like Tom Holmes is describing, probably lived with his mommy and daddy. He's on a bicycle, and he shows up right when Ted Cruz starts talking, and he's yelling the entire time. And God bless Ted Cruz. He never broke, his train of thought at all. He was great. He just kept talking. And I finally told the guy to go get lost, and I think I used some pretty harsh language with him too. I was like, just, get a life, go back to your mom's house. Whatever it was I said, I was pretty mouthy, and the audience was laughing. But Ted Cruz kept his cool because that's who he is. But, these people are just rude. If you've got a disagreement, and there are plenty of people I've been in meetings with or that I've disagreed with or gone to events, how about some decorum? But screaming and yelling at somebody, he's right. Go back to your parents' basement. I don't know. But this person who showed up out of nowhere had to have known where. I don't know how he knew where Ted Cruz was going to be, but he's just screaming the entire time. Ted Cruz was talking. My gosh. Just nothing else to do with your meaningless little existence. This is it. This is what you do on your little bicycle, screaming and yelling at Ted Cruz. Okay. Wow. You must be really proud of yourself. I just don't understand it. Or these people, they have no existence that's meaningless. Meaningful, I should say. They really don't. That's why they get involved in this stuff. Who knows what their situation in life is. Maybe they've gone to school. Maybe they've gotten a useless degree, have debts up the wazoo, can't get a job at the coffee shop. And I'm not putting in the coffee shop down. I couldn't work at Starbucks. I couldn't do that job. I don't even know how to make coffee like they do. But, nobody will hire you. So you're just a loser. You just feel like you have, nothing going in your life. So this is what you're going to do. Is your contribution to society is to run around on your bicycle and start screaming at politicians, or show up at events like Tom Homan's event and scream at somebody. This is your contribution. So at the end of your life, when St. Peter's going to be there, this is what you're going to tell him you did. This is what I did. I didn't, have a great family or do anything like that. You did this. It's just sad. These disaffected losers seem to be a lot more common now in society. And I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but blaming politicians for the fact that your life's not working out well is ridiculous. You've got to make good decisions with your life. Go to school or acquire a skill. You don't have to go to college. No one's saying you have to. Acquire a skill, learn how to do something, learn how to be useful to society, learn how to be useful to your family, learn how to be useful to anybody, to a spouse. But people don't want that anymore. I mean, they really don't. They just want to blame everybody else. Their life's not going the way they thought it would because of something someone else has done. Okay. Can you imagine? And that's kind of a loser mentality, because if you believe you're a victim of circumstance, then you believe that you have no control over your life and you can't make your life better. It's not a way to look at things. Running around blaming everyone else for everything else. Well, gee, I guess you have no shot because of the color of your skin, or because you have too many college loans, or because of this, or because there's always some excuse. I can't make it because blah, blah, blah. So therefore, I'm just going to be a loser and never accomplish anything in my life. It's silly. No matter who you are, if God gives you another day on this earth, you can choose to contribute. So anyway, I hope you do. I hope you do contribute. Do the best you can with what you've got. That's what we all have to do. Hey, it's been fun sitting in for Mark Reardon. Thank you, Ethan. Always fun working with you, my friend.
Oh, always a blast. Always getting to connect and catch up and hear your thoughts on the latest.
I miss you, although I'm not going to lie, when the Chiefs are playing, I'm always grateful that I'm not working Sunday night, right?
Yeah, well, they're in prime time a lot, so you had to miss a lot of those games.
I know, but I miss working with you, but it's always great to see you and see everybody.
Likewise.
At the Mark Reardon Show. So good talking to everybody. Follow me on social media, Heidi Harris Show, if you'd like to, and look for my podcast, Heidi Harris Show, on the podcast. Got to click on podcasts when you go to the Odyssey app. You can find it. Okay, everybody. Tomorrow, Ryan Recker will be with you. I'm Heidi Harris in for Mark Reardon. Have a good day.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Evening to you. Well, on the roads, we had a couple of rain showers earlier, and it left us with a slow go on westbound 70 past the airport out to the Blanchette Bridge, westbound 364 headed for the Missouri River, and some moderate volume westbound 40 around 141. Eastbound kind of slow out there as well. But that's it. 55 looks good. No delays through North County, and we're looking good on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, Lakeside Renovation and Design has been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. From windows and siding to kitchens, baths, and outdoor spaces, they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Jason Aldean, Full Throttle Tour 2025, powered by Patriot Mobile. When the lights come on. This Saturday night, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. With Nate Smith. You set my world on fire. And Ray Lynn.